Welcome to the GameChanger 00100 show. I'm your host, GameChanger. Okay, so I contacted a couple of people before I did this show. Salute to Pablo Frescobar, salute to Marco Grande. And the reason why I contacted them is for various reasons, but their points of view on this situation is very important considering what I'm about to say. So I should be talking to Marco shortly. He should be up shortly. And Pablo, he didn't want to do it, and he has his reasons that we spoke about privately. And I was convinced that these are actually valid reasons. The reasons why I am going to do this is because the opposition will, and maybe I'll keep it up. Maybe I'll just put it on members only after this. Who knows? Depends on how it goes. But it's definitely something that needs to be talked about, traction or otherwise. So yeah, definitely decided to do this video. Now, this reminds me of an episode, a very, very, very old episode of Star Trek, where Wesley Crusher, who was a teenager, he was on the ship, and the Enterprise came across this new world of aliens where the aliens looked human, but more attractive versions of humans. And meaning that they look like humans at their best, like humans if Twinkies never existed and everybody had single digit body fat percentage and everybody was white and everybody was between the ages of 15 and 25. That's what it looked like. And it was a paradise. Everybody is happy. They even said on the thing that they just have sex at the drop of a hat, any type of hat. I don't know what that means, but so it's supposed to be like this whole utopian paradise, so if you have a passport or intergalactic passport, then you should go to whatever this planet was, right? Something like Risa 3 or something like that. I forget the name of it, but it was just supposed to be paradise, right? And they enjoyed it for about 30 minutes. And then after 30 minutes, they was playing catch, and the young dude was playing catch with oh, you remember that episode? Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, so the young dude was playing catch, and this fool jumped into like a bed of flowers. And it was like, no, Wesley, don't jump into the flowers, don't do it. And he jumped in to catch the ball. And then they was like, oh wow. And then he comes up, he said, don't worry, I'm okay. This fool said, I'm okay. They're like, yeah, this is not cool. It's not cool to come up into our planet like that, busting up flowers. And they was like, yeah, they like, listen, I'm sorry, but you gotta go. We got a bunch of laws here, but we have one universal punishment, and that is deletion, and not the control alt type. You mess around, you jaywalking, you delete it. You crossing that red light, you delete it. Don't say it was yellow. No, you get deleted. That is how they like, listen, paradise is paradise for a reason. And that reason is we don't have a bunch of wild ass ninjas walking around trampling on people's rose beds. That's how it's paradise. The reason why we got flowers is because people like you is not just tackling the flowers and taking them down. That you see all these flowers here, you see all this shrubbery, this greenery, this clean air. It's because we delete people who step out of line. Now, at first, because I seen it as a kid. Keep in mind, Star Trek Next Generation is real old. I seen it as a kid. At first, I was like, dang, because when you're young and you live with your parents and your parents come off as oppressive and you're really just against any anything that resembles rules, oppression, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, especially if it's harsh, because that's how you view your current situation. You're all for as much liberty and freedom as possible. When you get some years under your belt, you all for having people not F up your rose garden. That's what you about. You about these people not messing up your rose garden. So, yeah, you look at it different, and I'm like, something. He was out of line. I'm not saying he should have got it deleted, but he was out of line. Like, he knew what was going to happen. You see, when you dive into something, you see what you're going to dive into. If somebody throw a football and you decide to catch it, and you decide to, just stretch out and dive for it, and then just hit something, you know what you're doing. You wouldn't have did that if it was a pile of acid there. You knew what you was doing. You knew that it was some roses underneath you. You know it was some flowers underneath you. But you wanted to do what you did. And you thought it was going to be cool. But it wasn't cool. It wasn't cool to them. They like, listen, we're going to delete you. You come in here messing up our flowers and stuff. So that's what the Auston situation remind me of. Now, I will say this, in Wesley's defense, he didn't get any warning. They said, no, don't do it. But they thought that, it was going to hurt him or something like that. But he thought that they thought it was going to hurt him. He's like, he didn't get any warning. And did they delete him? No. And not that I remember that particular episode or that particular detail, but I know because I've seen him on future episodes. He was there for like 5 seasons or something like that. So I know they didn't delete him that episode. But they were serious. They had dudes walking around with like lethal injections in their pockets and stuff, just waiting to take them out. So that's their custom. You see, when you come from a place, because here, the reason why, with the drawn out nerd analogy, the reason why people are leaving America is because the people have too many damn freedoms. And when you have a large group of people with too many freedoms, then what happens is they have the freedom to infringe on your freedom. That's the thing. They have the freedom to infringe on your freedom. And that is what makes it unbearable. For example, slut walks, right? Slut walks is a freedom. It is an expression of freedom. A woman has a freedom to dress this way, to behave this way, and she's flaunting that freedom. And now this freedom is influencing your daughter, your underage, your young daughter. That is her freedom. She's they're basically infringing on your right to raise your daughters, your children, with certain values. Their freedom is infringing on your freedom. That's when it becomes problematic. That is when people have restrictions and boundaries. See, this is something you don't realize when you're a kid because you hate the restrictions and boundaries that your parents impose upon you and that society imposes upon you. But as an adult, you do come to learn to understand that these boundaries are for a reason. And that it's a delicate balance. And once again, I'm not shooting at Auston. I'm not shooting at Auston. That sounds like something Western, but yeah, I'm not shooting at Auston. And we're going to get into this. We're definitely going to get into the situation, but I'm laying some foundation. Now, America has one particular freedom that, though other countries have it, It's not part of its core fundamental values the way it is in America. Like, in the freedom I'm talking about is the first constitutional right, the first freedom, so to speak. It is our first freedom. What is that? Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. See, they didn't have that in the old country for a reason. They didn't have that in the old country for a reason because it causes something. Freedom. It's a very, 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 very dangerous thing. Freedom of speech. It is an extreme, and the people in the old country in England, they knew that. They like, listen, this is a dangerous thing. I'll give an example, and I don't know if this happened throughout history, probably because they didn't have freedom of speech like that. But I'll give an example. Back in the day, somebody say, "Hey, the Queen Mother was with this other dude, and the person that's king now isn't really king." Now, whether it's true or not, somebody say that, it's spread to another person, it's spread to another person, it's spread to another person, and next thing you know, you have a full blown insurrection. You have a full blown insurrection based on something that may or may not be true. Genghis Khan had his firstborn son, who also became Khan, who also became ruler. I think his name was Kublai or something like that. Or no, he was a descendant of Kublai. Anyway, see, his wife was captured by an enemy encampment like before she got pregnant, and then 8 months later, Genghis had his firstborn son. 8 months later. Now they did some DNA testing. Oh, I don't even want to talk about it, but nevertheless, nobody said nothing. Nobody said nothing until like centuries later, where we have this freedom of speech now and we could say stuff like that. But you think they said that back then? No. Nobody said nothing. Don't say nothing. You better not say nothing. What you gonna say? What you gonna say? You saying that's not my son? You Maury? You know what they did to Maury, and you know what the Mongolians did to Maury's back then? Shut the f. Shut up. Shut up. See, so there's a reason, and I'm not against freedom of speech, but I'm just saying it can be very, 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 very dangerous. And we as a country, because we have the military might and we have control over our own propaganda, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, we're willing to embrace some of the damage. We're willing to take that risk. But truth be told, that's the beginning. Like that January 6th thing, it starts with a speech. That 1942 stuff in Germany starts with speeches. It starts with very, very, very dangerous rhetoric. Stuff like this starts with speeches. The American Revolution, these stuff like this starts with speeches. It starts with the freedom to say whatever is on your mind, no matter how dangerous it is. Propaganda is a very, very, very dangerous thing. And because here in America we have this freedom of speech, we don't really we take that mentality to places where even though they have the same freedom, it's not part of their it's not their First Amendment, that's for sure. So they still are on some govern your speech properly, or else there's consequences. Now, to Auston. Auston, he said and did something, a series of things, according to one master teacher. I just seen his take on it. He said and did a series of things that many would say is not going to put the Brazilian women in the best light. It's not how the women would want themselves represented. And you should not do that, is essentially what happened. Now, because we're Westerners, I say we, because we're Westerners, and because it's freedom of speech, and this is really the same thing that you see people like on It's Complicated do, and that is go to random people on the streets, ask them questions, ask them real personal questions, and it really don't matter too much because we have freedom of speech and everybody can. We don't really judge people as harshly as they do there. So like we take like the Real Sex or It's Complicated interviews. Nobody is thinking like my mama is watching this, because they don't really care like that. But you see, the type of women that we want, and that Austin wants, and that I want, and that the people in the chat, hit that like button, that the people in the chat wants, care about it. We want women that care about their reputation, because if not, then what do you have? You have the same thing. You have these slut walking Amber Rose bitches. You do. So we don't want that mentality. So there's just like with the Rose Garden, there is a reason that it's paradise. There's a reason that it's paradise. And part of the reason that it's a paradise is because the women are, though sexual, they're not openly sexual. So I'm guessing, and trust me, what happened, at least if you look at it as a one-off thing, the one incident could have happened to a lot of people, and we're going to get into that later. That's why I called Marco up. But it could have happened to a lot of people, but it happened to him. Definitely going to get into that. But it did happen. So apparently, and for those of you who don't know, he asked a question. I've seen this interview, and I think it's viral now, so it's out there somewhere. I don't think it's on this channel anymore. But he asked a woman in a bikini at the beach, just a series of questions, like, and basically what he was getting to the nitty gritty of is, do Brazilian women play sexual games like American women? Because what American women tend to do, and there's ways around this, but nevertheless, it is something that they tend to do, is they attempt to use sex to leverage you, leverage whatever it is they want from you, including attention, which is I fell for that a lot, which is the primary thing that that women use me for. When I feel used from women, it's not about money. It's really more about time. It's more about time than anything. Like women attack me and they try to use me for my time a lot. And they use sex in order to do that, or they use the possibility of sex in order to do that. So an example of this would be like, I'm talking on the phone for hours on end, and it's like, okay, when are we gonna smash? When are we gonna smash? So I grew out of that, of course, because I started to see that pattern, and I started to value my time. Shout out to the late great Ellen Roger Curry, no free attention, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I used to fall for that a lot because I didn't even know that. I mean, I thought the only way a woman could use a man was for his money. So I I didn't feel used if it wasn't for my buddy, to be perfectly honest, especially if I enjoyed her company. But that would happen a lot. And a lot of women understand that if a man is only interested in you for sex, and let's be honest, most women that men talk to, their only value to that man is sex. And they understand that the sooner sex is the beginning of the end of the relationship, meaning that once you start having sex and once he's got his feel of feeling you, then that is when the relationship ends. So if they want to prolong the whole talk time and they want to get as much free attention from you as possible, so they play games and they try to hide the cookie or delay the cookie or whatever. So I get what he's talking about, especially at that age. I don't know if they value his attention the same, but they value something from him and they're using sex to leverage it out of him. That's a game that shouldn't be played. And also, another thing, and I think that he may have been hinting towards this when he was bringing up this topic, is that some women are under the impression that not having sex with you is a way to secure a relationship. And that is a stupid game that they really shouldn't be playing. So he wanted to really drive that point home, that the 3-month rule and stuff like that. He was really thumbing his nose at the Steve Harveys of the world. So he was like, listen, they don't play these games here. And he went out to prove it. Now, in doing so, he asked the young lady, essentially, he did it in a much more polite way. I'm not going to do that here, but he did it in an extremely polite way. But essentially, he was asking, how long would it take to smash? How long, would it take to smash? Now, her answer wasn't like, oh, I'm ready to go. First date, you just buy me some French fries and it's a go. Her answer was not that. Her answer was more to the effect of, maybe 2-3 dates. Maybe if I like the guy, it could happen immediately. And that's actually true here. Like if you have just like that one spectacular date where the chemistry is just popping and spectacular and everything, is going right, then that happens here too. So, she's not really saying anything that made her seem particularly slutty or bad, nor did he paint her into a corner that tarnished her image in that way by American standards. So, how we complain. And when I say we, I'm talking about red pill spaces and things like that. We talk about how women do not hold each other accountable, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's why we have all these twerk, single mom wigs. That's why we have all this, because women are not holding each other accountable. So we want to live in a society where, women hold each other accountable, right? And we want to live in a society where the mother tell the daughter, you can't wear that to church, right? We want to live in that society, or we want the results of that society, I should say. Well, this is that society. Unfortunately, this is that society where her interactions with guys on the beach is a lot different than how she wants to be portrayed to her family, her friends, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Why? Because apparently women hold other women accountable for, I can never say this word, but for slutty behavior. So, just like Wesley Crusher, I was about to say Wesley Snipes, just like Wesley Crusher on that planet who was crushing them flowers, there is a price for paradise. Ah, crap. I'm going to rename the video. Zone, if you did, rename the video. Auston Holleman, Price of Paradise. Oh, and I spelled his name wrong, so I got to rename this crap anyway. All right, so I spelled it like the city, but yeah, there is a price for paradise, and we have got to learn what that is. We got to learn what that is. I believe he should have received fair warning, and some people would say he did. Some people say that, when they retaliated, and I agree with this. If he had ample warning, they retaliate and they say, listen, you don't do this, and then he may have went to America mode, where freedom of speech in America is like Big Joker. It's like Big Six. It always goes first. It always comes first. It is the First Amendment. It is the first thing there, as far as the fundamental rights of an American, of a U.S. citizen. It's one of the first. It trumps everything. You ask somebody like, hey, you have somebody with a Dukes of Hazzard flag on their car, and you find it offensive, and they like, hey, freedom of speech. It trumps everything. That's why you got so many lunatics with so many wild ideas out there that they're spreading. It trumps everything. So if they hit him with "don't do that," and his response is "don't tell me what to say," that is a very U.S. United States of America thing to say. That is a very United States of America thing to say, to respond. Like, because I'm protecting my right to say what I want to say. Oh no, that does not fly in other places. They don't hit other places the same. Somebody say that what you are, especially if it's the person who you interview, somebody say, what you're doing is wrong. You don't do that here. Don't do it. Shout out to Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan walked into a pool hall full of black people, and he seen Chris Tucker say, "What up, my nigga?" And he's like, "Hey, what up, my nigga?" And then it became this whole thing, and they proceeded to jump him, and he got into some kung fu fighting and stuff like that. But listen, if somebody say don't do it, don't do it. Like, how bad do you want to do it? Put it like this: if you want American freedoms, then you got to just stay here. Sacrifice your freedom for the greater good. And having cooperative women, who care about their image, they respect their image, is what you want, obviously. So you got to have a certain level of understanding of the circumstances that created them. So yeah, didn't do anything wrong by U.S. standards, but this is not U.S. or he was not in the U.S. So shout out to Big Kev. Thank you for giving me money. He says the fake controversy is about stopping American brothers from warning Afro-Brazilian men about the horrors of having a feminist dating environment. Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. And that's why I did this video, because I know it's going to be like, really, this is really just wanting to silence black men. This is really about silencing black men. But what do I want to say? No, but this is an isolated, and basically the lesson here, and I really hope that he bounced back from this, because many foreigners have great memories. And maybe this is just a stereotype, but I tell you from my experience, like, I've been to countries. I bought a bracelet, and then somebody from that country, like 3 years later, would just walk past and say, remember that blue bracelet I sold you? I was like, well, I did buy a blue bracelet, like a blue with the shells, like it's like a blue rock or something like that. I did buy that like 3 years ago, and I'm not wearing it now. And you remember me? You really remember? I don't remember your face. That is for dang. I do not remember. You remember, and I know Austin don't remember the face of a head that he cut 3 years ago too. So it is amazing. It astounds me. Now, of course, I've only been to Brazil once, and all countries are different. But I will say that in my travels, and maybe that's just part of their business, to resell you bracelets and stuff. But they do have some memories. So he left because he don't want to be in a place where he's the bad guy, and I can respect that. I can appreciate that. If he's the bad guy now, and it's got as much press and traction, because apparently it's got a lot over there. It's gotten a lot of press and traction. So if he's remembered as that dude, he might be remembered as that dude for a long time. Now, I'm hoping that that's not the case. And in fact, I really hope that he could just go back to this country that he loves so much, and his apology will stick. And just come out and say, like, listen, I'm from a different country. Your ways are different to me. I did not mean any disrespect. Believe it or not, questions like that is not disrespectful here, or where he's from, Dallas. So I'm hoping that we could look past this. I'm really hoping that can happen for him. I really do, because from his videos, he really liked the country. Now, this is for Pablo. I'm putting the link out there for Pablo. Now, it is ironic that this happened 2 weeks prior. So, 2 weeks prior, I was on Austin's show. And it's funny because I just came up for a second to say something real quick. And I'm about to play this for y'all. Actually, let me present again, make sure I hit that button.
About 2 minutes per caller. So we're gonna go ahead and let GameChanger come in. How you doing?
Pretty good, Austin. How you doing?
Good.
Okay, great. I was wondering if because I'm a routine traveler, I go on vacation and stuff, but I don't live there like you and One Master Teacher. Have the two of you ever considered doing something like do's and don'ts to assure that places like Brazil don't turn to North America, like codes of conduct for brothers?
I say it here and there in my videos, but it would be a good idea to come out with a video strictly about how to prevent creating the same culture in South America or anywhere else that we have in South, and the same as in North America. You know what I'm saying? North America, sorry. Yeah.
Right. Ways to not turn South America into North America. I got you. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, that's all I came up for. I look forward to that. From what I've seen when I travel, it doesn't seem like, I've only been to Rio. That's the only place in Brazil that I've been to, but it doesn't seem like they are turning north anytime soon. However, anything is possible, and we want to prevent that at all costs, obviously.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah. Any advice that the two of you brothers could give on that would be very helpful. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't want to hold up your or anything.
Oh, good. I appreciate it, man.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Okay, so that was me on this show just 2 weeks ago. It's funny, and it's funny that it's One Master Teacher that brought this to my attention. You know, like I was saying, and this isn't some I told you so stuff, but I'm like, hey, you know, we want to preserve the culture. So we got to understand, don't bring our American stink with us. Cause you know, doing whole real sex interviews on the street, it may or may not. I actually didn't know. I actually didn't know that it could go this far south. So I'm not one of these people that like, listen, I told you so, or I would have did this, I would have did this. I genuinely didn't know. If I knew, I would have said something when I seen the video when it happened, you know, but I didn't know it would get this much traction. Now, part of it is because Marco does worse, and we're going to talk about that, you know. But and largely because I live in a country where that's not that big of an issue. Would I have asked that question? No. And that's because I know that, and probably because I'm older, and and when you're his age, every Western woman is a modern woman. So he don't know that he probably is not used to talking to women who aren't modern women. His mama is modern. Now, I'm not saying his mom. I'm saying women his mama age is modern. You know, like that's how I'm old enough to be his father. So, you know, that's how old he is. Like, you know, his mom is probably around my age, and she is in that mentality. But I'm of an age to where we understood that with certain women, they like to talk, they like to do certain things, but not talk about those things, and most definitely not public. So I definitely understand that that mentality exists, and apparently it exists in a much larger concentration there than here, and that's why, you know, this happened. And I think that, you know, it's not as bad. I think that really what happened with this is that he didn't is that she didn't know how popular he was. If it was me and one of my videos, she still wouldn't care. But it's not. It's a guy that gets a lot more traction than I do, and word can get into her circle quicker, and that's what she didn't want to happen. You know, there's a lot of guys who do a lot of videos and you never see it. You know, like if I walk down the street and there's a camera out there, you know, chances are nobody's gonna like recognize me and say, like, of all the stuff that they watch. But he has like a much larger following, and it does get around. And the fact that he speaks Portuguese means that he also has a Brazilian following as well. So yeah, that is the thing. That is what's going on. Now I'm gonna cue something else up, but in the meantime, Marco. Now, for those of you who don't know, Marco El Grande has a channel. On his channel, he has smacked semi-bare Colombian ass. He has and held a thermometer to it afterwards to gauge the amount of heat that is generated per smack. He has hit Colombian ass with a baseball bat, not a wooden one, a plastic one. He has hit it with a baseball bat, literally. He has had scantily clad Colombian women pillow fight. He has done tickle torture. And am I missing anything, Marco?
Now you gotta just the lollipop sucking contests.
The lollipop sucking contest, exactly.
Those are always fun.
I don't know how I got unsubscribed from Marco's channel, but I gotta get back over there.
They deleted a lot. YouTube deletes it a lot.
Yeah, that's what happened. It's all right. That's long. But the thing, well, go on, continue.
No, I was saying like, but this type of controversy has never happened, and really, this is just a very unique thing. It hasn't happened to much anybody. I mean, something worse happened to Cuba Dave, but what you're in a different country, granted. It's a Latin country nonetheless. It is a Catholic country nonetheless, but it's a different country. What makes your approach safer? Maybe not YouTube algorithm safe, but what makes your approach so that this doesn't happen?
Well, it's the fact that the people that I'm doing it with are not complete strangers. It's not a person that I walk at a mall or a beach and say, listen, can I tickle torture you or can I smack you in the ass and see if it gets hot? That's not the way it goes. It's something that I have friends that I've known for some time and say, listen, I want to do a video and this is what I want to do, whatever the hell it is. They're like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So what you were saying that something like this didn't happen to me was because the people that are on the video are not doing it to me. Yeah, they've taken like some channels or strikes because of some people that get offended, but not because of the people that participating parties that actually like what's going on. So I think that's the difference.
Okay. So for those of you who want his channel, his name is Marco El Grande. I'll find the link and I'll put it up there. This is the type. Apparently, the patent leather, the lollipop sucking contest. Like, do you make them count, or do you see like who can suck the fastest, or what? Like, what's the lollipop sucking contest?
It's a variety of. It's not the simplest parameters. This is very complicated. I wish that people didn't think that it was just so easy. A lot of things go into.
Well, no, that's what I'm asking. I'm asking for the complexity of it.
Well, there's different ones. You know, there's been, like I said,
Okay.
speed is one. Then there's a technique. There's a visuals. It's a lot of things. You know, it's complicated, as they say.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. So let me see what you got in the shorts. Okay, you got a jacuzzi chick, some cosplay going on here.
Yeah, that's a spanking one. That's a good one. That was a spanking one. Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, so yeah, you have the spanking one here. You know, what's the point of spanking if there's no ass there? But yeah, you have the spanking going on. Let's see, tickle belly. So this channel exists, and it has existed well before Auston was a thing. You know, this channel has existed well before Auston is a thing, and I think one of the fundamental things is that, you know, these girls know what they're getting into. They know that there's a chance, that a much smaller chance, but they know that there's a chance that that their mama is watching, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. For example, I had King Sigma on my show, and he did an interview where he did a street pickup. So he did a street interview with a woman. You know, y'all seen it if y'all seen it, and I decided to cut that portion out and make a pre-record out of it. Look at this nigga. Does that make you feel happy? Does that make you feel happy? How fucked up are you? You think you just feed off the misery of somebody. You have to self-evaluate if you put stuff like this up on my channel. That is not what this is about. This is not about the misery of other Black men. You know what this says about you? This says that your life is so miserable that you've seen him in Brazil being happy, interviewing beautiful Brazilian women, and you was just sitting there waiting for him to fall. And now that something bad has happened in his otherwise great life, you are just saying, oh yeah, he crying now. You have to evaluate what in life is making you that way, because the misery of others should not bring joy to you in this particular instance. Not the misery of those who are, one, most like you, and two, have not hit you or harmed you in any way, shape, or form. Don't come with that nonsense. Don't. What was I saying? Marco, you got that memory. What was I saying? Okay, you gone. But
sorry, I stepped away.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. But my point is that there was a vetting process. You know, there was a vetting process with the women, and the women don't mind. You know, they don't mind, like, okay, I know what I'm getting into. Oh no, I was telling about the King Sigma. Okay, so yeah, so I made an outtake of it, and then and Sigma was cammed up. I made an outtake of it, and I put it on my show to do a pre-record. It got a lot of traction. People came to see. Shout out to King Sigma, but he hit me up and said, "Hey, it's one thing having me on camera, like in the middle of an hour stream, where what I get like 2,000-3,000 viewers or something like that, and maybe not all of them went all the way to the middle. That's one thing. But if you put it by itself, then chances are somebody he knows will see it, and it'll cause consequences. So I'm gonna need you to take it down. It's like, all right, done. Take it down, right? Y'all won't see it on my thing. It may be on paid members, but that's very few people. So listen, he's a friend. He has the access to contact me and tell me I don't want to be seen that way. Now, unfortunately, she don't. They probably didn't exchange numbers or anything like that. So once she's seen the traction, and she's like, take it down, take it down, take it down, he didn't have an opportunity to do that because she didn't call him. So she did call her local, blogger or whatnot, and had her, do some damage control on her reputation, and it became this whole big cluster thing. So that's what happened. It's unfortunate. It is a learning process for us. It is a learning process for us, but that's where we're at. Pablo, what's on your mind? You're muted.
What's going on, GC?
What's going on?
Not much, man. Just thought I'd chime in on Auston. I didn't want to do it on my channel for reasons that I explained to you earlier.
Respect,
in my email. Yeah. I just didn't want to be perceived as another passport bro, quote unquote, piling on, or adding fuel to an already, burning social media frenzy, right? Because I want the young fella to recover from this and have the life that he always wanted to have in a country that he loved. I'm a Colombia guy. Shouts out to Marco.
Mm-hmm.
Spent 3 weeks in Colombia in December. Can't wait to go back. I'm an older man, so I move differently. And so a lot of things that affect younger guys, either as content creators or travelers, don't really affect me in the same way. Okay, so a big thing with a lot of the passport bros as far as Colombia goes is, oh, it's so dangerous. Oh, I'm gonna get they scopolamine people. Well, if you're a 25 to 30, early 40th years man who's hanging out in Parqueyeras and hitting the clubs, your exposure is different than mine.
Elaborate.
I'm 52 years old. I'm not, by midnight, I'm already in my apartment with who I'm with. I'm not hanging out in the park. I'm not at the clubs. I'm at a 4-star restaurant in Laureles. I'm in Las Palmas. I'm at, I'm in the Super Bowling or, some other venues that don't give me the same exposure. Right. So during Christmas, I went to Parque de Rio, where they have all the lights along the river. And me and the lady friend, we went and we walked the whole river, which is about a 2.5, almost 3 mile walk from beginning to end.
Okay, Pablo, I'm gonna have to ask that you refrain from using the term lady friend.
Okay.
If you say lady friend, I am going to picture somebody that I don't think your lady friend looks like.
Okay. What do you want me to call her?
Woman friend or something like that?
Chica was
hottie. I had a hottie with me. Okay?
There you go. There you go. A hottie. Yeah.
I had a hottie with me. Marco would be proud. Okay. Because I know how he rolls. So I had a hottie with me, and we go and we walk the river. Right. And then we went to dinner first. We walked the river, and then I commenced the spanking like Marco Grande. But to the dangers of, Medellin are much different than a 26-year-old because of my social movements. I'm not saying somebody couldn't, stick me up with a knife at the ATM. Yeah. But, it's hard to slip something in my. Nobody's at the 4-star restaurant slipping drinks, at $100 restaurant, which in Medellin is the equivalent of a.
Well, are you saying that your age protects you from situations like this?
I'm saying that my maturity level in the way that the places that I go are much different than the places a 22 and 24 and 25-year-old is going to go.
Okay.
My movements are different. My interests are different.
I feel you. I understand that.
Yeah. I'm going to Colossal. I don't know if Marco Grande's ever been to Colossal.
Yeah, of course. Of course I have.
Yeah. So high-end restaurant. Austin's not going to Colossal. And when I say Austin, I mean somebody his age.
Okay. Okay, so you're saying that it's different points of view, and I get that.
It's different travel habits. It's different habits.
Right. So a couple of years ago, and those of you who have been with me day one, I know Marco was there. I did a video from Dominican Republic. Hold on. I did a video from Dominican Republic. And basically, and it's probably still on my channel. It was called Horror Culture, is what it was called. And while in the Dominican Republic, I took a trip to Sosua, which is like the Vegas or the Atlantic City. It's kind of like, and I hate to say this, but it's really like the brothel of the Dominican Republic. And because of its proximity to the US, it's really like a brothel for a lot of East Coast cities and states. Like a guy could go there for a weekend, on a $100-$200 flight and enjoy the weekend and then come back and be ready for work Monday morning. So it has that stigma, that reputation. And I went there to interview some of the local prostitutes, right? And I interviewed 2 of them on my show, and I'm looking for the show right now. But one of the first things, because what I planned on doing was I planned on showing the women there, showing the prostitutes, showing what I see. Of course, not putting my face on the camera, but just showing what was going on, showing the strip or what have you. And the locals was telling me like, no, don't do that. It's not polite. You shouldn't be doing that. And I'm like, okay. And come to find out, and I found this out from a restaurant owner there, that the girls don't live there. It's a place that they visit to get money and then go back to wherever city they came from with the money. And that's how that works there. So nobody really is supposed to know what they're doing. And that's why they frown upon the camera thing. So, I was like, okay, bet. And those of you who've seen the video, you've seen the interview. I just did it off camera, and, I just talked to them. Didn't speak Spanish, so Marco was there to help. Got some pricing and bought him some French fries and stuff like that. And that was that. But the key is that they made it clear that this is their custom and it wasn't a law, or maybe they presented it to me as a law. I don't remember, but basically just don't do it. And okay, you don't want to be on camera, don't be on camera. It's some things is just plain. Some things is just plain.
Some things are not law, but they're practice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, just, hey, that is the custom. Let people enjoy their customs. Let them do what they do, and don't do what they don't want you to do to a reasonable extent. And I see that a lot, and I think that a lot of that is what was going on with Auston, but he didn't get the warning that I got. Now, oddly enough, there is a lot of videos out there where a guy is in Sosua, filming the prostitutes and putting the word prostitutes in the thing. And, maybe they don't care because it's a small channel, and chances are their family in Dominican is not going to get hold of them, that they'll find out that their daughter was in Sosua. But it really just take like one woman, and next thing you know, you that dude that get hemmed up and stuff. And like, just don't do that. Just respect people's space. That's my thing. And this isn't some 2020 hindsight like, Auston, you shouldn't have did this, but I'm saying, treasure warnings. And I don't think that you had a sufficient warning, but treasure warnings. That's what I would say. That would be the major takeaway from this.
Yeah, and another thing, I think Auston's channel grew so rapidly that I don't think he really had time to adjust to his popularity with the viral thing. And it wasn't his street interviews that really garnered him the eye of this Brazilian feminist. It was a tweet. It was a tweet that, quote unquote, these girls are easy.
Oh, he said that?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I didn't know. So y'all know I don't really Twitter and Facebook. I don't do much social media outside of YouTube. So catch me up.
So the context of it was
it a question mark?
No, he was making a statement.
Oh, crap.
But the statement was basically that these girls are so much easier to deal with than American women, which is in a social setting. Yes, that is absolutely true. They are easier, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. And one master teacher said this on his show, and I agree with him 100%. It's not what he meant to say, it's how they interpreted it. They interpreted it as he's saying they are easy, an easy lay, an easy smash, So
he meant easy like Sunday morning, right? He wasn't lying.
Right. I can approach girls. They're nice. They're giving me choosing signals. I'm not having to deal with a lot of crazy idiosyncrasies. They're very easygoing. I can carry on a very easy conversation and get to know them and get their phone numbers and begin to to get to know the girls. It's not as complicated as dealing with women in America. Everybody knows that's already true. But the wording of it, when translated to a woman whose English is her second language, it reads, "These women are easy."
Well, English is my first and only non-software language, and I can say that that's how I read it too. Like that. That's why I asked, was it a question mark or something like that? But yeah, he has a less common definition of easy. And I get it. I mean, it's clickbait. You want people to click on it, and then when they read it, like, they're easy in the sense that they're more cooperative, So, yeah, okay, I could see that going real bad real quick. And hey, this is a takeaway. It's unfortunate that it's at a horrible expense for him, but it is a takeaway that you just pick up on, and that is apologize quick. Like if somebody don't do the stuff that they say it's really not proper to do. If put it like this, like that whole Jackie Chan, what up, my nigga comment. If somebody say don't say that, then just don't say it. It's like just don't say it. Don't say it, don't do it. Like if I went to Russia and somebody said, you can't say Conrad because you black, I'm not gonna take offense. I'm just not gonna say it. I thought I hear y'all call each other that, but and I'm not saying that that's the custom there. I'm just saying if I hear of a custom like that, I'm not going to challenge the custom. And we as Americans, particularly Black Americans, and it's particularly Black Americans because our culture is so influential and in a very way so rich. We are under the impression that other people want to be like us so much that we should be able to go to places, even in their house, and be ourselves, and they should embrace that. Like how many movies, these Queen Latifah type movies, where she goes into Steve Martin's house and then she completely niggifies it, but it's okay because it's a good thing. Like it's not a good thing. Don't go places thinking that your way is better. Even if it might be, don't go to places thinking that and expecting people not to react. When in Rome, you do what Romans do. You don't, like me. Call me messy, call me nasty, but I have a carpet shampooer, so I don't really care if people keep their shoes on. I shampoo my own carpet. Be comfortable. Keep your shoes on. However, I have friends who have hardwood floors and say that crap. I don't understand it, but I'm in his house. So that's what you do. When I was young, I got into it with a chick, right? Because went over her house, and this wasn't somebody I was seeing. This is a college friend. Went over her house, and I had a pizza with me. This was in LA, and she was like, "GameChanger, she had like these wooden trays for food, and she was like, I got this, I got this here, so you don't have to sit on the couch and eat the pizza like that." I was like, well, it's in the box. Like the box works as this wooden tray thing. Anything that will spill out my mouth, it'll go into the box and not get on your couch. Why would I have a box and a thing? So it was this whole thing. And really, I was just disrespecting the fact that she has this rule. She'd much rather you use the wooden thing and the box. And I should have just respected it. But yeah. And she should know that custom makes no sense when the pizza is in the box. Anyway, my point is that sometimes you just got to put your own stuff aside and respect the rules of the land, or at least understand it.
Absolutely. I move real quiet when I'm in Colombia. I'm me, a chica, and point A to point B, and that's pretty much it. So again, like I said, that's why an older guy like myself doesn't have the same exposure, particularly as somebody who's trying to make a living off social media. To me, that's a dangerous business in this environment, in this Me Too cancel culture type environment, because one little word here or there can trip you up, and they got you up. They, particularly depending on who it is and what, how controversial their content. One thing I see is that if your content is just purely sexual, people don't give a shit. But if it's sexual and political, bruh, they on your neck. I got about
Well, elaborate on that because I don't think his content is political at all. I don't even think it's that sexual.
well, it is in that it makes comparison. He makes comparison between American women and Brazilian women. He does that regularly.
Okay.
And so that makes it political. So for example, there are a couple of content creators, white males, who literally have sex and travel in the titles of their channels. And they go around from country to country telling you where the best brothels are, the best cabanas, love motels with the sex swings and the sex chairs and the lube and all the shit. And they go in and they take a working girl with them on camera. They're not in the trouble Auston Holleman's in.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't think that it's a media dead zone there in Brazil or in most other countries. I don't think it's anything like that. In many cases, and I'm not really talking about the girls at Sasua because from what they were telling me, it's a different dynamic there. But in many cases, I think, especially in where white people like to travel, like Philippines and stuff like that, I think that their family and friends know that they're prostitutes and they don't really care. And I also think that the guy, and one master teacher brought this up too, the guy is paying these women, so they don't care for that reason. Like he's paying these women to be on camera and to show him the best brothels. I'm pretty sure he even pays the brothel to have the camera there. So yeah, that's a whole different thing. I was in a brothel, or not really a brothel, but a go-go bar, but you could have sex with the go-go dancer, so it might as well be a brothel. And I don't know if they had a camera policy there. But I didn't really have a desire to take out my cell phone cam and record. Like it was just okay, this is where I'm at, this is what they do. But if you find out that that's the custom, then yeah, things could go real bad. So this girl, I think that she just didn't know the magnitude of what she was getting into, and in my opinion, there's another problem with popping up on certain people with cameras, because a lot of what they're doing is, I just want to be polite. I don't want to be seen as mean or rude or uncooperative, so to speak. So, they're just going to kind of go with the flow because they don't want to be seen on camera not going with the flow. And then, unfortunately, the flow led her to a very, very, very dark place. And when all taken together, like having the tweet that's saying Brazilian girls are easy, combined with her saying, indirectly saying she's open to the possibility of perhaps sleeping with a guy on the first date, I could see how that would be damaging to anybody, even in America, even in the US. And and that, and the fact that she didn't know him, to say, hey, I'm gonna need you to take that down, I'm looking real bad out here. I see. It's really, for Auston, it's really just an unfortunate sequence of events. It was a slippery slope that started with just an innocent question on both sides.
Yeah, I agree. The interview on the street thing, you're right. I don't think it doesn't play as well in Brazil as the US. That is like it's not a thing. Number one, because the country is a lot more sexually free. So to ask the question is almost like, those type of questions, almost like, where are you going with that? Because it's already a more open type of country in terms of how people are with each other intimately. That's just the way it is. So it's not a thing where it becomes to them where they become defensive is when like you say you video it and then you juxtapose it, and then they feel like, oh, you trying to make us look easy like whores, and that's when it gets messy for them. Now they feel like they have to defend their culture and their country.
All right, let me bring this back to Marco. Marco, I seen you put your foot on the back of a Colombian girl and pull her hair just to show that it was real. What lines don't you cross in Colombia?
It goes back to what I said earlier, GC. It's a matter of whether you happen to have a friendship or relationship with this person, just like with anything. Mm-hmm. They're friends, therefore, you pull their hair, you have them kiss your feet, you have them kiss each other. They're friends, so it's everything is cool. Going back to what we're talking about, this dude on the screen, he just wasn't cool with the people, and it looks like he just went there just gun-ho just to get all kinds of content and just get in front of as many women as he could and just ask all kinds of questions that normally I guess he couldn't ask American women because he was too shy, he didn't have the access, or he just didn't feel comfortable. Whatever the hell it was, he felt comfortable there, and he was just doing all the things that he shouldn't have been doing. And that's so the difference going back to it is I could just about do any type of video with my friends because they're my friends and they're cool with it, and they'll do. I mean, it's not gonna get upset and go running to anybody or any reporter or whatever and say, hey, listen, he did this to me. That's not gonna happen. I don't know if I answered your question.
No, you did. You did, definitely. Somebody brought up another question. It says, do you prefer bad boy, good sex, or a guy with money? It's a pretty clear question that they could have easily not answered. Well, I did see, and some women didn't answer. And, he just took it in stride. He went and asked some more. So, yeah. No, I think that, listen, I don't think that immediately after the interview, it was a problem with her. I don't think that immediately right after the interview, she was like, oh, this jerk or something like that. It was just like a question.
It became a problem when it became a public.
It was viral. It went viral. It just happened. She got lucky, or he got lucky that it went viral. Therefore, it went viral. Then her aunt saw it, or her mama saw it, her grandpa saw it, her boyfriend probably saw it, and it's like, what the hell are you doing? And that's where all hell went loose. So naturally, I'm assuming here, but it just seems like she wanted to protect herself or play, victim, or just be innocent, whatever the hell it was. She's like, oh my God. And that's what it was. A hoe will be a hoe.
Now, would you classify this as a Brazilian Me Too?
No.
The Brazilian equivalent to Me Too. Here's why I asked the question. Me Too rarely becomes a legal matter. Like, it starts off as, I think the latest one was somebody said that Bill Murray, Ghostbusters, everybody loved Bill Murray, I think he's like going on 70, said something in the 90s, like he yelled at her something in the 90s, and in some movie like 30 something years ago, and she's bringing it to the attention now. It's an attack on somebody's character, it's an accusation, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it does have extraordinary negative consequences, and it's based solely on how she perceived a situation. You don't think that it mirrors that?
Well, let me say this. Austin did not break any laws. Austin is not in trouble with the Brazilian government or immigration in Brazil. They are not kicking him out. What it is an embarrassment and a socially awkward situation for a foreigner in a foreign country
Right.
that he is no longer comfortable in. Right?
Right.
So he has decided to leave Brazil. He had already planned on going to Peru, which he is in Peru now, from my understanding, and decided to leave Brazil and go to Peru. How long he'll stay in Peru and what he'll do there, I'm not sure, but I'm sure he will continue to do his content, maybe in a revamped way, but he'll probably pick it back up nonetheless. But it's not equivalent to a Me Too in that it's not a legal, quote unquote, legal issue. It's a social and cultural issue that he has.
Well, yeah, Me Too issues rarely are legal issues. The accusation, like Bill Maher is not going to go to jail behind it. Now, it eventually turns into legal issues like Bill Cosby and stuff like that, and Harvey Weinstein. It eventually turns into that. Somebody say, "Hey, in 1972, this is what Bill Cosby used to do," and then next thing you know, he's losing endorsements, and he's losing honorary degrees from institution he donated $30 million to. But it starts there and then it bubbles. But what I'm saying is, and I know it's not going to bubble until a legal thing for Austin, but what I'm saying is the mentality, the mindset, like I'm attacking his reputation, the attack on a reputation, on a man's reputation. I think it mirrors Me Too in that way. I do think that her reputation was definitely affected, but it wasn't intentional on his part.
But wouldn't it be like Me Too would be like if she goes right at him, because this is like a third kind of like a party or a third kind of entity, Me Too. Like the actual chick is not really saying, like you said with Bill Murray, right? Because this person yelled at me. Bill Murray yelled at me. It's not really like this, more like a third party or a third entity kind of Me Too. Is that if that's what you mean, then I guess.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the intention of the person, because if she and I don't know the reporter or the blogger or what have you, but if she sent it to the blogger knowing that she's the Gloria Ulrich of Brazil, then that was her intention. Like if she's what's that, Marissa Tomei? What's the Me Too chick name? But
Melissa Milano.
Melissa Milano, thank you. Melissa Tomei is the cool one. But yeah. So if you send it to her, you pretty much know what's going to happen. So who knows? I'm just saying it kind of reminds me of that. It's not as bad because there isn't a lie there. It isn't, she's not really lying on Austin. So it's not really a thing, but it definitely impacted him in a negative way. And, I feel bad for the brother. I really do. Now, here's his apology. And I didn't hear the whole thing. Here's what I don't like. I don't like insincere apologies. And I'm not saying that that's what he's doing. We're going to listen now so I can hear the whole thing. I don't like it when a person says, okay, for example, because my mom did this and it pissed me off. She didn't do it to me, but she suggested that that her friend does this to her daughter. Sorry, I'm not perfect. If you don't shut your ass up, that is not an apology. So trust me, I haven't seen it. I don't know if Austin did something like that. If you did that, it's better to just shut up. It's better to not say anything. So we're gonna listen now.
Sorry for being human. Sorry for being human.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry for being a man. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. Like, just shut up. If you gotta, this goes to y'all in like real life. If y'all feel a need to do something like that, it's better to just shut up. It's better to just not say nothing. All right, let's see what he has to say. Let's hear his apology. He had one in Portuguese because the apology is not to us. It's so the people in her circle who would judge and shame her, I'm assuming that that's who I would send it to. The people in her circle who would judge and shame her in a negative way, I would send it to. I would assure that they hear it. And
well, hold on, GC. I think you may be conflating some people here. You have the girl he interviewed on the street, and then you have the female feminist who actually writes a blog and a website, who brought this to the attention of social media in Brazil.
That's Stephanie, right? Roberto?
Yeah, two different people.
No, I get that. We was talking to Marco how she went to a third party.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, we touched on that. What I'm saying is the apology, were it my apology, it would be to the friends and family members of the girl that I interviewed on the beach and the girl herself. It'll be to the girl herself, but it would be so that the friends and family members of the young lady would recognize that I was wrong, and
So she asked him to like take the video down, and he wouldn't, or I'm trying to understand.
Well, I mean, because he didn't know her, and this is what Marco was talking about, because she didn't know him, no numbers were exchanged, no email or nothing like that. I don't think she really had an opportunity to ask him to take it down. So she went to the Stephanie woman that you were describing, to basically try to salvage her reputation.
Yeah, because I'm sure, like going back to, if they were friends, if they knew each other, once the video went viral, and then she started seeing issues on her end, talk about the girl here, then I'm sure she could have reached out to him. Hey, listen, I'm sorry, I'm having this. Could you take it down?
Yeah.
And I don't see why he wouldn't have. So given that they did not have that contact, that friendship, or that connection, then her thing was to protect herself. So then that's where she went to a third party that could get the word out, and I'm sure that's what happened, and that's what it looks like. And
I know several travel content creators, and one of the things that they do, Ace Live is one. I'm trying to think of one of my other favorites, but one thing that they do after they encounter someone in a country, and they have a conversation or interview them or talk to them, they say, okay, here's my card. This is my YouTube channel. You're going to be on my YouTube. You can find me here. That way, if the person, if there is any issue with them where they're like, oh, I don't know, I shouldn't have said that, I'm not comfortable with it, can you take it down? They can contact them.
Yeah, I'll bet anything that this did not happen. He does not do that, because you're talking about the guys that are obviously professional. They've been doing this for years and years and years in many, many different countries. So perhaps they've had issues.
Checks in Effect. Yeah, Checks in Effect is one that I know does this. I've actually seen him do it. Ace Live, I Am Marwa, those guys, they do that. They make sure that the person that they're interacting with has a way to contact them and say, okay, this is my channel. Here it is. If you want to contact me, this is where I am. This is where you can see your video, your portion of the video on my channel. That way, if there's
also, and also you see them also sometimes blur some people as well. So
yeah, I think that's law here.
Yeah, they do that.
Well, and that goes to another thing. So Diplomat 24, it says frack an apology, frack that broad. I wouldn't go nowhere if I didn't break any laws. Okay, here's the thing. America is unique. It has a unique way about it. And everything is in the law, and laws are strictly enforced here. That's why if you look at other countries, the traffic laws aren't as enforceable, because not everybody is registered, and not everybody, has to renew their address every time they go. Not everybody even has like a postal service address. So it's really difficult to enforce laws, and people drive just how they wish to drive in a lot of places. The law shouldn't be your only incentive to do something right. You should have to worry about your own personal reputation and how you present yourself and those like you to another society. Like there should be other things that discourage you from not doing certain things that aggravate other people. Because if you don't, then what you are is a nigga. You see, niggas just so happen to be as annoying as legally possible. Meaning that if there is a way to annoy somebody that the law doesn't cover, then they'll do it. And an example of this would be blasting the music in the middle of the night, while your baby is asleep, just because you think something like that is cute or funny. That is a nigga thing to do. That's a thing that, like, okay, they can't catch me because by the time they are annoyed by it, I done drove down the street and, there's no cops here. But I basically just, through an entire neighborhood, I'm annoying house to house to house to house to house. So yes, you can't really check them, but it is something that you just shouldn't do, because if you do, then that's the type of behavior you have. So yeah, let's not say I didn't break any laws, because then that would make you as annoying as legally possible. And don't go to other countries with that. Don't go to other countries with mentality like I'm gonna be as annoying as legally possible. Don't do that.
Yeah, if you become a social outcast, it doesn't matter that you didn't break any law. It's going to be difficult for you to even do content. Somebody in the chat said that. Charles Logan, shout out to Charles Logan. It's going to be difficult for him. It will be difficult for him to do content going forward if half of the country is looking at him as a pariah. It doesn't. It doesn't make for a good greeting. Hi, I'm Auston Holleman. Oh, I saw you on online or whatever. Yes, it's not a crime, but one thing I learned about while being abroad, like you were saying, GameChanger, U.S. is a nation of laws, but one thing I notice about when I'm outside of the U.S., particularly in South America, is it ain't always the law that reach out and touch you. It's the people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can be excommunicated from society, and that's your whole purpose of being there. So why aggravate people? You fall into the category of slut walkers and pronoun pussies. All you pronoun pussies, I do not care what you identify my pronouns are. I do not give a shit. I do not give a shit ever. You are as annoying as legally possible if you hit me with something like that. It's not against the law to try to impose, certain grammatical things on people for your own comfort, but it's as annoying as hell. It's annoying as all get up. It is. I am not going to call an individual. I seen this. It's freaking. I seen, what was the show? The last Best Man TV series, the Best Man TV series, and dude was like, "Call me they," or my pronouns are they and them. I was like, wait, in the plural? That goes against everything I've been taught on how to address individuals. I am not doing that crap. And the fact that you asked me to do that, it means that you want to annoy me. You want to piss me off.
I can't believe you actually watched. You could watch that. I tried. And
I've watched the first two movies. I'm a fan of the first two movies. But no, that last one kind of got bad.
Well, I watched the first 15 minutes and just seeing them look all old and disgusting. It's just, it really, it's sad just to look at them
in
all.
Particular, because they are old. Like the first one was like 1999.
Exactly. All of them are just horrible. It's just, rather remember them young because they look disgusting. I don't know how you can.
I gotta go, man. I'm headed out with the homies.
Marco. Okay,
I got it.
Pablo, peace.
All right, man. Later.
All right, Susan, why? I live in Arkansas. Well, I live in California. Why did you say that? Why did you say that? Did somebody say, "Oh, that's Susanna"? I wonder if she lives in Arkansas. Well, yeah, you gotta explain that. That's that's one of those things that require explanation. Like, what the, I highlighted like I live in Arkansas.
Central High.
Okay,
Go Kings.
is that what it is? Okay. All right, let's listen to how this apology went down.
In English because I can come off a lot more genuine in English and Portuguese. But let me say this: if you speak Portuguese, do not watch this video first. Watch the Portuguese version first, because a lot of people and the reason that a lot of this is going on is because a lot of people in Brazil are misinterpreting the things that I'm saying in English, and they don't really know how to speak English that well, and they're misinterpreting a lot of things because I don't say anything negative about Brazilians. So that's why it's so shocking to me to have this going on. But if you guys,
okay, so he has a point. Actually, I'm gonna download this because it's acting up when I do it otherwise.
You take it down.
No, I'm not gonna take it down. I'm gonna download it because well, was it buffering? Did you see it buffering?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if it's not buffering, then that's what's up. All right. Hold on, Citizen Lou, I'll play it. But right off the bat, I see what he's saying, but it still might come off bad because what he's saying is what we were saying, and that is that the way he used the word easy when he meant to say cooperative probably came off the wrong way to the Brazilians.
Well, no, but that would have came up to it would have came the same way to Americans too.
Well, I said that. I read it the wrong way initially too, and I think it was meant to be read the wrong way, and to be clickbaity, to be perfectly honest. But
and to the Italians, facile, and to the Spanish, fácil. It's not a good word to use when you're referring to women.
Yeah,
it's not.
So I would focus the apology on that. Like, I should not have said, because right now we're only 38 seconds in, and that's as much as I watched before starting this show because I had to call Marco and I had to do some other things. But right now I have to say it's coming off like I'm sorry that you misinterpreted it. Straight off the bat, that's a bad thing. That's always that falls into that category of I'm sorry I'm not perfect. You know, it's an apology, non-apology. You know, it's like I'm sorry that you took it the wrong way. That's not an apology.
I'm sorry you don't get me.
Even if that's the case, even if you feel that way, a better way to approach it for me is to say, I'm sorry what I said caused this effect. What I meant was this is how I would approach it. But let's see how he continues.
I'm Auston Holleman. I want to say that first. This is very heartbreaking to me. The fact that it was always my dream to live in Brazil, and my YouTube channel was centered around me showing other men, not just the women, but just if you guys understand English and you watch my videos, you see me talk about how I enjoy just, first of all, we can start with just the drinks, on how well the drinks are. Brazil, over any other country I've been. The food is a lot.
GC.
What's up?
He's not being real, man. Come on. Not just the women. That's all he was doing. That's all he was talking about. What do you mean, not just the women? Maybe.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
Well,
maybe
he's right when he says not just, but no, the majority. Let's be clear, and this is to everybody who travels outside of the U.S. for a significant stint of time. Most of the reason that you go to other countries for the men is the company of beautiful cooperative women. And I know this because that is the one thing that America doesn't have an abundance of. If we were a report card, we would have an A in everything else, but beautiful cooperative women. So it would be like a D minus. So yeah, that, and of course there's exceptions, like I want to go to the Mediterranean for, to see the historical buildings and things like that. However, that just so happen to have beautiful women there too, in most countries that border the Mediterranean. So yeah, let's not be disingenuous with that. I agree, but he is making a truthful statement that he's saying that he likes everything about Brazil.
Okay, let's see if he names a couple of those things. Let's see.
Well, he did. He said the drinks and stuff like that. But let's see.
Which drink? Cachaça? Caipirinha?
Oh, I don't know. He probably said it on his channel.
All right.
A lot more healthy. I have a lot more energy. My skin glows a lot better in Brazil. Everything about me is better in Brazil. The weather, the beaches, the people are so social. I can be myself in Brazil. I actually feel I can be myself and not be judged by everybody I run into. And that's why I made this video in English, because I can elaborate more than I could in Portuguese. But I'm very heartbroken knowing that, because this whole situation is going on, that even, let's say, for example, I'm in Brazil. Since my name has been slandered around and misinformed, the majority of the people was.
Is he playing like a flute or something in the background? What's that?
I was thinking about that music.
That must be his background music.
At the spa or something.
Well, you know what I thought? I thought that, and this is gonna sound kind of, racist, but so don't put me don't put me on the list like him. I wouldn't say this in your country, but I'm picturing like an Indian dude with that music, and a snake is, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, well, you mean like the flute?
Yeah.
Or like three
yeah,
some snake dancing type, like in India.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was picturing when I was hearing the music. Like, is he in India?
charmer.
And yeah, exactly. And he's a snake. Yeah, I thought it was a snake charmer in the back. Like, he lived next door to a snake charmer now. That would be a trip. Yeah. I was like, what's that flute? Like, what's that flute? Like,
well, he's trying to charm us. That's for damn sure. Go ahead, brother.
oh, is that what's going on? Okay. He says, we're trying to charm Brazil, like, back, like, hey, maybe this help. But Marco, I appreciate you. It says, for Pablo putting on the jersey. Now, what is that?
I was like, when he didn't want to go on this channel, because obviously he's linked to promoting him specifically, that he didn't want to go on this channel and just kind of, I guess, put this dark cloud over homeboy. How was that?
I don't either. But I mean, it's something that we learn from. I wouldn't have done the same thing, but I will say that I could cross the line and not know it and have similar results. So yeah, I'm not questioning his judgment too much. But no, I'm just trying to be fair with this whole interview.
Yeah, like I said, but what he's saying just now. But go keep going. Go, keep going.
It seems like the majority of Brazil, but a lot of people in Brazil, it's not safe even if I wanted to come back. If I wanted to come back to stay in Brazil, it wouldn't be safe, because my name has been slandered and everybody's been geared to hate me, to think that I'm some sort of sex tourist that's telling men that, oh, Brazilian women. And I'm not saying this because I know some of y'all still going to watch this English version first and misinterpret it. I am not saying Brazilian women are easy for everybody. What I meant by when I said that Brazilian women are easy, and I shouldn't use the word easy. I know that now.
All right.
But
I'll give him that. Like I say, I only heard like the first 38 seconds. I'll give him that. He did say what I suggested that he said, and he did admit that he shouldn't have said that part. You said, Marco, that in any Latin language, any Latin descendant language, that's going to sound bad.
Yes.
And he admits that. He recognizes and admits that. Can't really fault him for that.
saying is, with any effort to raise himself, he would have an easier time in Brazil, as opposed to where I was from. That wasn't always the case. But to get into the video, I want to apologize for releasing these videos and showing it to that you guys certain aspects of Brazilian culture. Uh, I know that I don't forget.
Yeah, it's Borgin for me. Is anybody else?
Forget.
Yeah, he's Borgin. Yeah, GC is Borgin.
You might have to
Was
lower the
learning
quality. You
Brazilian
might have to lower
culture,
the
the things that I
quality.
did.
No, I'll just
I think just
here. Let me stop screen share. What I'll do is I'll download it, so I'm not using any bandwidth to do it. But so far, I actually like it. The first 38 seconds was bad, but it's picking up. He's explaining exactly what happened, and it's coming off on some Brazil let me back, but that's what it is. It's a Brazil let me back, and because I don't want to be kicked out. Like especially if I love the country the way he loved it, then like he was setting roots.
He's not going to be
probably
kicked
signed to leave.
But Brazil is this is a nothing burger. In the slew of problems Brazil is going through right now, bro, this is a nothing burger. Like the U.S. embassy is not gonna recall him and tell him like you got to come here or we're gonna we got to deport you. It's not even that serious. Like this is totally being blown way out of proportion. But he's just a black dude walking around asking Brazilian chicks, "Do you like American dude? Do you like Big D?" And he said they were easy. I mean, okay, I'll give you that. That was a poor choice of words. But this whole like he's getting death threats. I mean, who popular on YouTube don't get death threats? I mean, who I don't understand that. This is a total nothing burger in my opinion. Like it's not
it made mainstream. Well, it made mainstream Brazilian news.
Yeah. That's
it is a thing,
Wait, so that blog. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was saying what we're saying is that it's not like he can get deported. It's not that, but I think it's a safety that if somebody would take the law into their own hands, which we were talking about earlier. You lived in Colombia, citizen Lou, so remember that goes on a lot. Well, there are a lot that taking them out. That's a thing.
But listen, but my thing is though, Marco, when the words you said, take justice in their own hands. He not messing with little kids. He's not.
Got to.
Huh?
I got you. But they're offended. I mean, they're offended, and you shouldn't be doing this about a woman. Yeah, that goes. I'm not saying that it's right and that he committed a crime. That's not what I'm saying at all. But it's definitely something that people are offended and they want to do something, and they want to do something to him. That's what it seems like, and that's what he feels, because that's what he said earlier, that if he doesn't feel safe. Didn't he say that, GC, earlier?
Yeah, he said that. But I mean, furthermore, even if safety wasn't an issue, do you really want to be that dude? Do you really want to be the dude that nobody likes, like throughout a country? Like, do you really want to be Will Smith right now? Like,
well, I mean, look at it like this, GameChanger. I mean, I hate to use, but like Kevin Samuels was known in America, right? I mean, you would say a lot of people hated him, but he still was moving and shaking and wherever he could have done. Brazil is huge. I know, Mark, you've been there. I mean, it's like 200. You can be in Rio, you could be in Sao Paulo. What's the one that starts with the L? Philopolis? Was it? Did I pronounce it right? Philopolis?
Yeah, come on now. It could be anywhere. Yeah, it could be just.
It could be anywhere, and they probably don't even, bro. I'm telling you, even in real life, people don't even. This is people are look. The Brazil's exportation of Brazilian women is. Yeah, thank you, Florianopolis. Thank you. Yeah, it's there. That's the known thing. Brazilian women. We had it in rap songs. We had it in music videos. I mean, everybody. How many Miss Universes were people know that people are coming to Brazil for the women? Like it's not a secret.
No, it's not. It's not. However, it's something that's impolite to talk about.
I'll give you that. Okay, I'll concede to that. I concede to that.
And that's. I mean, like they know, and a mother knows what her 20-year-old daughter does when she goes out at night. I mean, because the mother used to be 20 herself. It's still just not polite to talk about, and it's not something you want seen, out there. So I think that's the thing. But as far as he goes, I wouldn't want to be that dude either, to be perfectly honest. Like, I wouldn't want to be that dude to where, not everybody knows, but I don't want to to go somewhere and have somebody bring up a mistake that I made like that and have it happen regularly. Like, yeah, he could go to, you know, more rural parts and stuff like that, and it's far less likely to happen. But then, you know, eventually somebody's like, hey, aren't you that dude that said Brazilian women are easy? You know, like,
and he could just simply say, "Oh no, it was a mistranslation. I didn't mean it in that way."
yeah,
he
I
said
know,
it,
but
he was speaking in Portuguese, wasn't he, when he said it? When he like trying to, or
no,
was
no.
he? Or
What
he
I'm
was saying
saying
it to the
is,
camera, right?
yeah, true. But what I'm saying is, it's socially awkward. He's now in a socially awkward place.
Yeah. That's really what it
Situation.
is. If you missed it earlier, we're talking about it. It's just a matter that he does not know, like, these chicks. What he said is not a big deal. The conversation that he had, like you said, what's your penis? It's not a big thing. That's that conversation
Right.
that you have. That's not a big thing. It's just that it's a stranger to him. So what I think happened is that once this thing went viral, that was his curse. And what he wants, of course, he wants everything to go viral. But that was his curse, that for the chick, she didn't want that attention. I guess somebody saw it that didn't like it, or whatever, her boyfriend or man, whatever the hell it was. Like, what the hell are you doing talking dick to this dude on the beach? And that's what it is, I think, really. So, but if it would have been like his homie, that wouldn't have been the case. But it's a stranger, so that's what we're saying. So he's in a bad spot, really. Man, he didn't, like I say, he didn't break any laws. It's not a horrible thing, like you said. The chick was willing to have the conversation, but once, you know, it looks bad socially, then that's when she has to protect herself, like the hell that she is.
Yeah, that's all I was saying. I don't even think anybody was gonna do any retaliation, like, you know, because you were saying like maybe a boyfriend or so. I don't think anybody was gonna get that far. Because I think if they were gonna do something, they would have just did it, or they would have next, you know, they probably would have. I don't know, because you said it made the mainstream blog, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, the mainstream press too, according to 1MT, it made the press too.
Yeah, there's a couple of articles, and yeah, there's a couple
because sometimes people, because I don't know if that's a main. You know how like people, some people say Shade Room, right, is a mainstream blog, right?
No, but that's what I say. Press. It made their main press. Like, you know, like we have New York Times and stuff.
Right. So
I don't know if it's as popular as the New York Times, but that's what 1MT was saying that it was doing.
Okay, I had to take it. I had to take his word for it there. But I don't know. Like, I've seen way worse. I've seen what's that one dude, John Anthony Lifestyle, talking about he got a harem of Brazilian chicks. He got a rotation of Brazilian chicks. He's selling courses on how to go to Brazil and how to talk to all this other stuff. Like, I've seen way worse, and I'm trying to see why he run it. Why he got to, like, you know, they try to. It's like they running him out of Brazil, or he feel like he getting ran out of Brazil. I'm like, bro, it's way worse than what I saw. I mean, I've seen dudes say that.
Well, you don't want to be in a country easier. Like, the whole purpose of going was to be comfortable. You know what?
Did I cut out?
No, I think
it's really just like an unfortunate sequence of events for him. You know, he admits that he's wrong, and yeah, there are people who've done worse. He just so happened to, you know, to get penalized for it harshly over everybody else, like more harsh than everybody else.
Yeah, there's a thing on, it's called Mundo Negro. It's in Portuguese, and that's Stephanie Ribeiro.
Black World?
Yeah, Mundo Negro.
Oh, wow.
And it's in Portuguese. Yeah, I'll put the link here.
See,
so it's not like a main press thing.
No, there's just one of them. There's a few. Of course,
that sounds like a nigga blog. that sound like Shade Room, a Lipstick Alley, like type.
What's in Portuguese? But I'll put it here. I'll put it for you guys here.
You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying, though, bro. They just had a insurrection, a January 6 2.0 over there. It's like they got rainlands and drying. They have farmland getting. They need to excavate. They got way bigger issues than this. That's why I'm like, when y'all say mainstream, I'm like, I don't know. It sounds like a blog to me. I'm gonna click on it. It sounds like a gossip blog. Yeah, Mundo Negro. See, this is let me click on this. So this is built. Yeah, this is a WordPress site. This ain't really. This is like a blog. This is probably her blog. This chick right here.
It could be. I mean, granted, I'm going off of what I've seen on.
Here's one that's not global.com. That's the newspaper Global.
Mm-hmm.
I put that on here. And this is exactly.
I see it. I see it. This is like, I see it. Okay, the Mundo Negro. It's like an Afro Brazilian. Okay, I see it. Okay, I see what you're saying. So it's kind of like Blevity, kind of sorta, or like.
Yeah, and this one that on here, that's global. It's actually a newspaper. You can see that they blurred the chick's face right here.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah. I see it.
Yeah. That's what we were talking about. That it went a little bit further, and this is like local in Salvador.
So there you go. Like, so he's that dude. He's that dude now that somebody could say, "Hey, aren't you that gringo that, you know?" I mean, because 100% of gringos are nut gringos that that made the press look like him. So, you know, he will be remembered. Like, you know, he'll be talked about, gossiped about. I put it like this: I would leave too. For the people who saying that, you know, why is he leaving? I would leave too.
The spot's definitely hot.
Yeah, the spot is hot for you. It's, you know, it is. And if I looked like him, I wouldn't go. Like I'd go to Chile or something.
Yeah, he can go to. Well, actually, like I said, he can just go up in the Amazon right there. It's Brazil. Excuse me, Paraguay, and an Argentina border. There's Ecuador right there. So he has a lot of options.
I would go to the place where people don't read that press.
Go to Venezuela, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to deal with that crap. Yeah. I would
go to Venezuela. Hey man, listen, man.
Venezuela's awesome. I was gonna be there. I was gonna be there for New Year's Eve, but I was in Jamaica instead. But
were you going to Caracas?
No, I was going to Barquisimeto in Maracaibo.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's awesome there. Yeah, I've lived there before, so I know it well.
No, hey, people sleep on Venezuela, man. People don't know. I try to keep that under wraps. I let niggas just, you know what I'm saying? I let niggas do all that other stuff. I keep Venezuela under the wraps.
No, I don't. I don't sleep on it because I've seen some of the immigrants in my own travels. But
well, Miss Universe, one of the finalists was from Venezuela.
However, I don't want to go to a place that's having economic turmoil. Stuff get complicated.
Well, they got high speed internet. They got other stuff, and you bring the dollar, you'll be good.
Yeah, no, it's not a matter of like my own financial situation. It's really more when there's civil unrest, and I would rather not get caught up in that crap. You know, like who knows? Like, you know, when a country's economy fails, you know, there's all sorts of, you know, like it could be the purge any day, and I don't want to be caught out that with nobody having my back.
Yeah, but you'll be okay. It's really
No, you're right, GC. It's horrible as hell. It's hell on earth. Everybody listening.
I'm not saying that.
It's the worst. No. I'm
not saying that.
No, I'm saying it. I want everybody don't go to.
I would rather not get caught up in some bull. That's what I'm saying.
What was the Star Trek we were talking about earlier? I'm sorry, Citizen. What was it earlier? GC, what were we talking about? The analogy you were giving? The Star Trek? Was it the perfect world? What was it?
Yeah. Dang, I titled my video Price of Perfection.
Yeah, Price of Paradise.
Yeah, Price of Paradise, yeah.
That's what Citizen Lou's vibing for, and he doesn't want you in Venezuela.
Yeah, hey, okay.
It's horrible.
You know,
the beaches are dirty.
I try to avoid that. Like, you know, like
I hate
would
black
I
people.
wanted to go to Greece like 8 years ago? Like, I mean, it's just like, you know, y'all got your problems. I'm gonna wait till things calm down. That's how I look at Venezuela.
Okay, right. Well, if I was Citizen Lou, I'd be like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm
right. Yeah, y'all all right. Yeah, y'all right. Venezuela's horrible.
Yeah, so stay away.
Caracas is horrible.
All right. Let's see the rest of this.
People, it seems like the majority of Brazil, but a lot of people in Brazil, it's not safe even if I wanted to come back. You know, if I wanted to come back to stay in Brazil, it wouldn't be safe because my name has been slandered. And
Is it hello? Mic check. Y'all there? Is it my internet?
from, that wasn't always the case. Videos and aspects of culture.
Yeah, it's froze for me too. I thought it was just me, but they're saying in the chat it's froze, GC.
All right, I know it's buffering, but what do y'all think of the video so far? The apology so far.
I didn't really hear it. I didn't hear that last part. To be, I was freezing up.
Yeah, it's freezing up badly, man.
Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. Like, I do have an idea because it's storming out here, but it still shouldn't be. Still shouldn't be that bad.
Citizen Lou sound like Tretch. If you've never been to Venezuela, don't ever come to Venezuela. Say the fuck out of Venezuela.
Hey man, listen. I done see some beautiful. I mean, I just, it is what it is. I told myself I'm done being an evangelist.
Venezuela, it's got the most Miss Universe. Venezuela, bro.
You know what I mean? Yeah, Miss Universe, the third. Yeah, she would finish like second or third. Was Venezuela? I mean, that's it. What it is, man.
It's been a gang of them.
Yeah, it's like a 3-to-1 ratio, female to male. I mean, bro, and they don't really have like a fucked up culture in Venezuela either. They got a really nice culture.
They're happy.
They have a welcoming of all different walks of life and of all colors and nationalities and stuff like that. But what the Brazil thing, I just, GC, I'm not going, I guess I'm not going to disagree. You're saying he needs to dip out. I'm just saying, I don't think I don't know, maybe I'm just an asshole. I'm like, man, I don't fucking apology. That's how I'm looking at it.
I mean, I think that, he should apologize because he's in somebody else's house doing something that they generally don't approve of.
Well,
what sex tourism? What do you mean? That's their.
Speaking of, he wasn't really promoting sex tourism, but
that's what the article said. The article said that's how they're portraying them. They're portraying. I agree.
Exactly.
I don't think he was, but the article portraying that he's promoting sex tourism, and they've had generations of that. So what's the difference now?
But see, for his purpose, for his purpose of being a YouTuber, famous at that, for his purpose of being out there all over the place and talking to people, it doesn't really serve him well to have this on him. So that's what we're talking about. He's got to dip, because if he wants to be in the spotlight and be viral and be famous, then this ain't good. So that's why
somebody said, of course you feel that way. That's not a problem. I'm just saying, it's like they already labeled you something, and it's like people write hit pieces on. They were writing hit pieces on Kevin Samuels. They're writing hit pieces on a lot of people. They didn't. I remember. You know what's funny? I remember when I was in TJ, Bad Bunny was coming for a concert, and it was dudes talking about they gonna kill him. They're gonna shoot up the concert when it gets there, and he still showed up. And then now look at him now. This is before he blew up. This was before Yo I Go Let Me Dogana. Before that album. And now he's a mega star now. I mean, people gonna hate on you. People gonna make threats. People gonna do what you do. I mean, I don't understand why it's this whole, oh man, like,
because he's not going to a place to be hated. That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly. We love
it's not a matter of fearing for his life, even though he did mention that. It's not a matter of any of that. It's really more of, I'm on vacation. I don't want to, kind of like if you're doing a concert, you're not doing it to get booed. Like people don't have to I don't think he cares if they hate him or not, but he's like, listen, I'm not here to be not liked.
Yeah, because he is there to be liked. And
exactly. He's there to be liked. And he's there. And I don't know if this YouTube is his bread and butter. But
I'm pretty sure it is.
So yeah, like, how is he gonna get interviews now? Like, he could go to the real places, and probably get loving and stuff like that, but like, is he gonna get interviews? And it's just your reputation. Like, your reputation is at 48 Laws of Power. Your reputation is everything protected with your life, and his in this place is not the best. Like, he probably wants to just go somewhere until Brazil remembers to forget
Black Man Travels. All right, so you keep taking shots. Have I been to Brazil? Yes, I've been to Sao Paulo. dudes can conduct yourself. So he has a YouTube channel like every other white dude in Brazil, asking chicks, do they like black men, asking them questions about, I'm not black, do they like Americans? He's doing the same thing. Well, so why does he have to conduct himself differently than every other Indian dude, a Japanese dude? Why does he have to conduct himself? Well, he didn't do anything out of bounds. He's not messing with little kids. He's not fighting Brazilian people in the streets. He's not going around like that one dude with the worst the worst favelas of Brazil and put them in a bad light. He's just talking to bad bitches. What are y'all talking about? This is just because somebody made a hit. Oh, go ahead, bro.
No, what I'm saying is, it's because of the reaction. Look, okay, it's like Jackie Chan. What's up, my nigga? I can't, like, that's the perfect analogy. Like, he's like, wait a minute, I see you saying it, I see him saying it, I see, hell, I thought that was your name. Like, it's like, listen, just apologize. Why are you in here kung fu fighting?
But that analogy don't work because there are other foreigners doing it too. The same thing.
There are other people saying what's up, my nigga. It don't matter. Like,
no, but you're saying it like
don't go places.
But only black people can say that.
Huh?
You should. No, I see what you're saying, but I got you. It was funny.
He obviously stepped on a landmine. He obviously stepped on a landmine, and and it's a big deal. And because it's a big deal to him, and I'm not talking about just an individual. I'm not talking about like one person, is pretend offended just because that one person want an apology. The reaction indicates that the action was bad. And whenever that happens, that's when BMT, I put the link in there for you. But when that happens, just understand that you did something wrong.
Yeah, because we're talking earlier. I mean, you could do just about what you saying, that people do other things, they show other things. I know some crazy shit on my channel, but the chicks that are my friends, they don't complain. They don't go out there and like do crazy shit. Don't tell nobody. It's that they're fun. They're having fun with it. This particular time, like I said, he kind of ran into a hole that all of a sudden it went viral and she didn't look good. So she wanted to fix her image. And by her fixing herself was just blaming that dude for making her look bad. That's pretty well. I think it's that simple, really.
Yeah, it is.
Complicated.
It is. It's unfortunate. And I know, okay, here's the thing. We in America, and I talked about this when I was talking about freedom of speech and something like that, and like, how dare somebody challenge my constitutional rights, but they don't have the same constitution there. So, it's, you pick your battles, and you want to pick far less. You want to pick far less when you're abroad.
That's it. And I had an experience. I was in Thailand, and they had just changed kings. And I was asking the guy that I was with, I said, hey, man, so how's the king, man? How's the new king? Is it a good king? And he looked at me and he kind of turned pale. And he's like, listen, I know you're American and you can talk about those things, but here we just cannot have that conversation.
You said, what did you say to him?
I said, is he a good king?
Oh, you're talking about in Thailand, right?
In Thailand, yeah. Is he a good king?
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you can't speak on it. Yeah.
He's like, you're pale. Like, you can't say something. So just, you can say, yeah, no, the king sucks, man.
See, freedom of speech is not the same. It's not. Freedom of speech is like our First Amendment. It's our primary right.
It's our go-to.
Real way.
It's our go-to, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's the foundation. It's the first thing that we thought of. It's our first freedom. So of course we're going to have a bit of, I could say whatever I want, type thing. The rest of the world don't operate that way. So, just apologize. Like, you feel you say something offensive, then just like, hey, didn't mean it. My bad. Like,
well, like I said, he apologized. I mean, it is what it is. I guess black men just have a different playbook. I guess we gotta just hold our heads down and don't talk and don't bring a camera. Don't talk to people. Just be quiet and just relegate all your travels to obscure Facebook groups.
Okay. Well. Who's? Let me ask you this: who's the biggest, baddest white boy actor that's not over 50 out right now?
That's a good question. Not over 50.
Why?
Yeah,
Leonardo's like 40.
No. I'm talking about like beat ass white boy.
Like what up? You said like a young white boy?
No, not young, but I'm talking about like a beat ass white boy that's not that's not like a pretty boy like Leonardo DiCaprio, but more like a beat ass white boy.
Oh, okay, like a
Like
rugged
a
one?
Like a bruised knuckle white boy, yeah.
Like a rugged one. Oh,
that's
I
it.
don't know.
Well, I'll just say who it is. No, I'll say who it is because there's some out there like that, like the dude that played Thanos or Thor. But no, I'm talking about John Cena.
Oh, okay, all right.
John
Cena.
said,
Okay, John Cena. Okay.
Yeah, John Cena said something about Tibet in China, and that nigga was it wasn't like this apology. Nah, he had a teary-eyed apology on that, and he wasn't even there. He had a teary-eyed apology to the people of Chinese in Chinese, and I bet you he never spoke a word of Chinese or Cantonese or Mandarin in his life. And he was on there misty-eyed, Oscar performance level, apology on that crap because, China has like 1.2 or maybe like 1.4 billion people. And that's, he wants his movies to be international. So for whatever reason, he pissed them off. And that was that. He's apologizing. So it's not just it wasn't just a black thing.
Well, don't you remember the NBA dude who were there? And
that was the GM. The GM he's the GM of the 76ers now. I can't think of the top of my head.
And coach. What's the coach? The Steve Kerr that's always out very boisterous about things. And when he was over in China, he was like, "Well, we can't really speak on this right now."
Yeah, LeBron was like that too. Yeah, I mean, but China cuts the check. That's a bit. China cutting. I think China cutting that.
Brazil's
check.
cutting Austin's check.
Yep, that's true.
No, it's not. American people are cutting Austin's check. I guarantee.
No. They allow him to check. If there's no interviews, there's no show.
Yep.
I mean, America will cut John Cena's check, but he understands that it's the Chinese viewers because they have like 4 times our population. If he can appeal to that movie market, then that's a check. That's a big check.
The American companies will hire him again for another movie.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You don't want to be that toxic dude. You don't want to be the toxic dude.
Yeah, I think 99% his okay, you're saying the content. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Hey, good morning.
Hold on, somebody in the chat. Somebody in the chat was
I'm having a problem. I'm currently
what the hell? All right, go ahead, Susan.
I'm currently having sex with a woman.
All right.
My girlfriend just walked in.
And get this dude out of here, man.
Yeah.
That's fucking troll. No, I was saying somebody in the chat was saying it's about respect. I mean, the dude is speaking Portuguese. I mean, he's obviously embracing their culture. I don't understand, I just think this is a problem. Like, this is, I don't know, man. It's just interesting to me, man. It's just crazy. What's up? What's up, BMT in the building? Yeah, I agree. Only 1.7% of Brazilians watch Austin. So GC, you're saying
3 million people.
Huh?
What do you mean only? That's 3 million people.
Of his audience. No, of his own audience.
My bad. Okay.
Yeah, not 1.7 of the whole Brazil.
Okay.
I think he meant like of his
channel. That makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he meant like of his channel 1.7, and that's probably, and you know what? That 1.7 is probably black dudes or dudes from America traveling. So that's probably not even Brazilian people watching it.
Nah, if it's in Portuguese, I could see it getting some traction.
Yeah, because he does both.
Because that girl who did it, she obviously had some time in America. I think she was speaking in English, wasn't she? Like she obviously had some time in America.
Speaking to her in Portuguese.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Oh, was she? I thought. Okay, I'm tripping. Okay, I thought she was translating when she did, because she posted her IG, and she was like, "Okay." I thought, okay. So never mind. I'll take that back on her. But it's not. He said leave the rough hood stuff. This dude, Austin wasn't bringing no hood stuff to Brazil. Like, what are y'all doing?
And that's why he's likable. Now I do see brothers do that, and I'm like, why? And especially you New York types, like, I mean, like, why? This, like, just be happy. Yeah, exactly. It's like, just be happy. Now I see that in Dominican. Like, what the hell? Why you over here on some Debo stuff? Like, I see that from time to time.
I was telling you, man, he should make a video wearing the Brazil jersey with Pelé, like Pelé's jersey, just kicking the ball around. That's what he should do. I mean, Brazilians love soccer, man. That's what he should do right now, man. Just
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
if there
he
was
should do some community outreach like Pablo Escobar did. You know what I mean? Do some soccer
Yeah.
games, do some community.
barber, like I said, I said he should do some barber. Do some free haircuts at the favelas.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he a barber. Yeah, give him. Yeah, that's a good idea actually.
Nah, I
Free
don't think. I
niggas up with
think I'm be
lineups.
honest. I think that Brazilian has better barbers. I think that it's fiercer competition. I think he would be giving like inferior American haircuts and pissing them off worse.
BMT, you wild, GC. BMT, look, he said Stephanie is American bred. So I was right. Yeah, I thought she definitely.
No. I'm talking about the girl on the beach.
Oh, I'm talking about the girl who posted. I'm talking about the feminist chick. I was talking about her. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I was saying her. She clearly has some American. She grew up in America, or she's been to America a few times.
Okay.
So she's just pretty much an ABW in Brazil face. She's just an ABW. Yeah, she's just a baby W.
Put her name so you can look her up real quick at GC.
Could you do it? Because I don't want to mess with the things.
And also made a good point on Twitter. He said that imagine these same chicks, these Brazilian chicks siding with women who was calling them dirty foots and hut livers and mud pie eaters, all that. Like, it's crazy. So she does this Stephanie chick is an ABW in Brazil face.
Plot twist. Not only is she an ABW, she's actually married to a white man.
Man, look, bro. See, you see what I'm saying? And you got Negroes. Man, see, this is why we needs to change. We needs to stop doing all this. Y'all blowing up the spot. They gonna get us all. Black folks need to act right when you go to these other countries. Fucking
dudes are saying that like
ass niggas.
They were like, because of Austin, now I can't even go nowhere.
Right. Because of Austin, now I ain't going to travel no more.
I would never take that route.
Not you, but this the
people
what I'm
hearing.
Said that. Yeah, this is the consensus of what I'm listening to.
I will say this. We do have to protect our ethnic reputation, and this is a besmirchment of it. Now, I didn't know that she was an ABW, and she obviously has an agenda on that. But somebody took it to her. She was allowed that, that beach head by the chick on the beach. Here, let me play a little bit of this before we go to Azrael.
Go ahead. All right. Sorry.
Still learning Brazilian culture.
Out of Borg, man.
Hey, GC, what time step you on? I got this roadcaster. I can play it through the audio. If you want me to do that? GC, you want me to play it through the roadcaster? And then you just tell me to pause it whenever you want me to, whenever you want. Cause I don't know, it's not working.
Yes, I can't hear it.
And you know what? And Black Man Travels made a good point. Brazil has 26 states. No need to travel to the same spot. That's 100% right. You don't need to go to the same spot.
Yeah, it was a national publication, though, wasn't it?
No, I told you that's like a nigga blog. That's like shade.
No,
that's
but
like
Marco brought up the other
type.
thing. Marco brought up the other thing that was a national publication.
Oh, he was on a newspaper. He was on the front of a newspaper. Something like that. I heard.
It was global, man.
When you go to that Mundo Negro, they talking about like Jonathan Majors in
no,
like,
but I'm saying that in addition to that, first of all, even still, you don't want your thing in that.
That's too much attention. Yeah,
it's a lot of negative attention. But Marco said that in addition to that, his face is on some global regular news.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. The follow Geneflex. I'm not sure what this is. But
you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. It's a lot of BS because I'm thinking to myself, here is a 23-year-old black dude, and these women are gonna act like white men weren't going down there back and forth since the turn of the 20th century. You know what I mean, or to the 21st century. Like, you gonna act like white men weren't going. Let's say hypothetically, I'm not saying he was ex trafficking. Let's just say that. But for the mere fact that they just jumping on him, pouncing like, no, we got to get him out. There's a woman that's saying we're gonna report him to the embassy. I'm like, you mean to tell me you never seen white dudes up and down the block kicking it with other Brazilian women, and you never wanted to report them to the embassy? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Well, I mean, he didn't have
white
all
dude.
the followers though. That's the thing. Like he has all the followers. Prostitution is legal there, and like most places where prostitution is legal, they don't mind you doing it. They just don't like you promoting it. Not saying that he promotes it, but I'm just saying like that's the line with them. You know.
Yeah, like
now y'all talk about white dudes. Let me show y'all something. There's a guy named Cuba Dave, one or the other. But he was arrested for that. I think it was Costa Rica. He was arrested for doing that, and he's 72 years old, and he was the first person that was arrested in I think it was Costa Rica for that stuff, for promoting prostitution, and he had to do a year before he won his appeal. So look at him.
Yeah. But Cuba Dave was talking about like prices and like where to go and like.
No, I'm just saying that they didn't give him a pass for being white. That's what I'm saying. They didn't give him a pass for being white. And the fact that he's the first person ever to be arrested for that's something serious. That's like the first person to get arrested for murder or some crap like that. Like it's a whole crime that you 100% of the people who did it. Like the whole thing is kind of like having a disease. Why you RIP him? He's alive, ain't he?
No, they say he got lost. He got kidnapped or something.
Nah, he got arrested. That man got arrested. Now, I don't want to be a 72-year-old white. Well, first, I don't want to be a 72-year-old white dude, but I want to be caught in a foreign prison.
Hell yeah.
I got another one too. In 2017, GC, there was a guy. He called himself Colombian Jake. All right, he was in Medellin. And he started out like that, just promoting the lifestyle. You know, he would say, "Yeah, just come over and I'll show you the ropes and this and that." Then he got people coming. Then he got a website. He's like, "Yeah, I'll get you an apartment and I'll introduce some chicas." A year and a half later, they arrested him. 51 years old, good softball player. I played against him, and then he ended up hanging himself in the jail because he was going to be in there for 30 years.
Oh man.
Colombian Jake, 2017. I remember him.
You said Colombian Jake?
Yeah, I'll send you a link.
Yeah, so it's not I don't know if it's a white pass. I mean, countries really don't.
He was a white guy too.
Yeah, countries really don't like that stuff, Citizen Lou.
Okay,
like,
that's hold on. That's not what I was saying though. I was saying the same type of content where you got white dudes walking around interviewing chicks and asking them questions. That's what I was talking about. That specific. I was talking about that type of content, not with Cuban Dave and Jake Medellin. They were actively promoting prostitution. They were aggressively marketing that.
Well, but I mean, I don't know. I will say this: they weren't. They weren't. I mean, because he was acquitted. Now the due process is a lot longer, where he got arrested, and it took a year. But he was found not guilty. So he actually didn't do stuff and they still got him. Like, my thing is, it seemed like anybody could get it. They don't mind you, you know, they don't mind you doing it, but it's like, listen, don't, and this is, and I talked about this earlier, I think it was on Melody's show, where like, I don't know why niggas go and got to talk bad about a chick after she do something freaky with you. You ruin yourself. You don't do that extra stuff and things will be cool. And I'm not, trust me, this has nothing to do with Austin. I'm just saying that countries feel the same way. They don't mind you being.
They don't mind you sleeping with their woman, but don't make them look like this, sluts or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's pretty much why I came up here to say that. Like, I mean, it's fine what you do. If you go to other countries, I don't care what you do over there. That's your business. But when you have a whole platform and you're talking about, you know, oh, they're so hot and the sex with them is so much better and like the parties is better and stuff, these women are probably going to take offense to it. So I don't think he did anything wrong. He was just having a good time. He's young, you know, he wanted to find love over there, but these people think differently over here. So now I'm also hearing that he's not allowed to go back over there.
No, he can go back. They're not.
He's
not
legally
barred.
allowed to. Yeah,
he's not barred from going to Brazil. Brazil don't even care about Austin. They just had an insurrection. They had a government insurrection, an attempted insurrection. They ain't worried about blackmail YouTubers asking chicks they like Big D or not. They don't care.
and then what does this mean for other passport bros? Are they going to be afraid to go over to these countries now?
Most niggas are scared anyway, Melody. They want.
Yeah,
they're going to use this, Melody, and be like, "See, this is why I wasn't going. I was never going.
I was thinking of going, but because of Austin,
see, I knew it was fucked up.
Yeah,
they just gonna use it as they was never going anyway.
Oh yeah, I was about to say, but she said would it discourage like people who were already going, people who are already encouraged.
No, the real travelers, they probably booked a flight as we speak, booking flights as we speak.
That's me. I was thinking of going there in May around like Memorial Day with a couple other people. I'm like, because I wasn't focused on the Austin thing because I can move in with the people. Like when I went to Mexico, I was like, not to say like I was a part of the public, but like I don't wear flashy stuff. Like I come in dressed with like a t-shirt and have some Crocs and walking around the place, you know. But I would say when you go to another country, like you try to fit in as much as with the people as much as possible. Try not to stand out. Don't wear flashy shit. Don't be wearing no Gucci, Louis Vuitton, trying to stunt arm poor people. Like, no, don't do that. You know.
But furthermore, you know, if it's clear, if a country makes it clear that something is socially acceptable or socially unacceptable, then don't fight.
Yeah, when in Rome. What they say, when
exactly.
in Rome, do with the Romans
when in Rome, eat pizza. Like, you know, don't fight it. Just they say don't do it, don't do it. That's why I bring up the what's up my nigga thing. Like, listen, don't ask why. Just they say don't do it. And it's clear that this is not an individual thing, that this is a cultural thing. Just don't do it. You know?
I mean, that was a good analogy. I mean, with the Jackie Chan thing, you're not wrong in that regard. It is what it is. I don't want to hold the mic.
It's good. I want to hear from King Simon. King Simon, come back if you can. Ruby, what's on your mind?
Well, I just wanted to say, and you know, I hate to say I told you so. I don't hate to say that. Obviously,
don't say stuff.
You know that's what I came up to say.
No, this is what you niggas get for not messing with black.
No, I hate it when people do that. Like, you know, I don't want to sound like a racist,
but and then you put the button. No, that's exactly why I said it. But no, for real.
Say your piece, and then we'll go to BMT. Because
no, for real. Here's the issue that I had, and I said this. I think it was like a month. I don't know. I can't remember how long ago it was that we had this topic on Melody's channel, and my opinion was, and I said this, and I think it was me and Marty who ended up debating, and I was like, listen, I understand what y'all are saying. I'm not trying to take anything away from, you know, black men on this continent or what their rights are or whatever. But for you to say that, that the people in these countries don't care about how they're being represented or don't care about the intentions of the people who are traveling to their countries, right, is absolutely ridiculous. First of all. Second of all, that there is a sex worker class, shall we say. I actually said whore class, but whatever. But there is a sex worker class in every country, including those countries. So there are definitely, especially in ones where, you know, sex work is legal, right? There's women who are there and they'd be really great for the whole, you know, sex tourism portion of things. But then the rest of the very gorgeous, beautiful, fit, feminine, friendly women there are, you know, they're not there for sex tourism. They would be there to find suitable husbands. And there is a difference. And I think that, you know, that needs to be made more clear. So, you know, overall watching Austin's apology, because I heard about the apology. So I didn't get to see like anything original before the apology. And watching his apology, I went, okay, it seems to me like now, because, you know, ish hit the fan, now all the things that I was saying 2 months ago, I was getting totally attacked for saying, he has now had a come to Jesus moment about that, and now is recognizing, okay, I should have been a little bit more clear about these things. I should have really been more specific. I really should have pushed more to make sure that when I said words like easy, that it couldn't be misinterpreted, because I'm not suggesting that these women are easy, as in all of them are willing, you know, they're basically slutty or whatever. That's not what he was trying to say. And it's like, yeah, if you already had that life experience, then you know that's not what he was trying to say. But a lot of people who watch his videos don't have that life experience and didn't know exactly what he was trying to say. And they got the messages misconstrued. And then people in the original countries hear these messages about themselves, hear these messages about their daughters and their sisters and whatever, and they don't like it. And, you know, so you do have to be careful and you need to be really clear with your message.
You have some validity in your point. However, this is where I kind of gotta disagree with it. For the mere fact that he's had multiple interviews with these women. It's not like he was walking about the club and talking about, look at this woman, she's easy, and just slap her on the ass. Like, he's had multiple interviews, sit down interviews with different kinds of women that had kids, women that were young in their 20s, still going to school. Like, he's had different interviews with different groups of women, even women that were going to the gym. To say easy, yeah, when people say easy, it's like that's like a kind of like a dog whistle to be like, oh, he's saying these women are every woman here is a whore or whatnot. It's like, no, he's just saying they're much more better to deal with. But if you're not doing your research on what Auston is doing, it's easy to just assume, oh, he means that the woman that everybody here is like a prostitute or a concubine. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. I absolutely agree with you. And I think that that is the difference between being a smaller creator and when you start picking up traction and, you know, maybe not going mainstream, but when you get more and more popular. The problem is that you can't control which one of your videos or which one of your messages gets clicked and then goes viral, right? And then from the place where it goes viral, all the people who are getting that viral message, 100,000, maybe even more than that, right? They're not even half of them are going to be doing a whole bunch of background work to ensure that the message they heard from you is really giving the full message, right? Maybe at best they might watch the full video instead of the clip, but they're not going to go and watch 50 of your videos or 10 of your videos or 5 of your videos, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why I do think while you can't reiterate your entire message every single time that you do a video, you know, just being careful that, especially when you're talking about another country, you're talking about another culture, you're living within that. And I mean, Auston said that as well, though, right? He wasn't respecting certain cultural norms or he wasn't being clear enough. And, you know, there's a way to do that, I think, with every single video in such a way that you would have to be incredibly disingenuous to have watched the entire, just that one video and to really not get what he was saying. Do you know what I mean? So.
So yes. You're on Auston's side. So you're saying you agree that you had to be disingenuous to say that he said all Brazilian women are easy?
No, he literally said all Brazilian women were easy. He just didn't clarify what he meant by all Brazilian.
Well, first
so
of all,
what I'm saying is, no, he said it. He said it. He
didn't
clarify what he meant by it.
What I'm saying is he's basically saying that they're and he's saying this in the thing in the apology. He's saying that that they're easier, meaning more cooperative, and that's where the miscommunication happened.
Right. No, but that's what exactly.
But if you're a hater, if you're a hater, you've been playing on his downfall since he started making videos. Then of course you're gonna say, "Yeah, see, nigga, I told you, nigga, you got to be careful."
Exactly.
I mean,
but again,
I want this to be.
Right. But again, that's the whole thing, though. What I just said was that he said that Brazilian women are easy. He said in his apology video, he should have clarified what he meant by that. And that's why I said it's very easy to just speak clearly and freely and not right. But that's what I'm saying. And he said he should have specified that's what he meant after he said easy. But he didn't in the video. That's why it was able to get misconstrued. And that's why in the future, he's going to be more careful to make sure he, first of all, doesn't use certain types of words that can be easily misconstrued, but to also more fully explain himself. And that's why I said, I think his apology, it really addressed it well.
Do you know the lady? Do you know where she's from? Do you know the background, the person that was accusing him of, the trafficking and whatnot? Do you know?
No, like I said, I didn't see anything at all until the apology video.
No, okay. So just to be clear, he's not accused of trafficking. That's a whole different ballgame. he's basically he said some things that were inappropriate by
Oh no, they're
thing.
accusing him of trafficking. Like
no, that's exaggeration. That's you know that's bitches being bitches. But I'm talking about what transpired was just like a cultural landmine, not really.
But it wasn't even a landmine. It was like a splash. It wasn't even that crazy.
Yeah, it was a splash.
It wasn't that big a deal. It was
how some people put hot sauce on everything. So apparently, this chick, she wanted to just turn a mountain into a mole, or what's that called? Turn a molehill to a mountain or something like that. But he's in the hot seat. I think the best thing he could do, and trust me, I'm not trying to get this man advice, but it would be nice if he could get in touch with the girl on the beach somehow. And I think that would be the best way to clear his name, to have like a positive, back and forth one-on-one with her and apologize and explain your side and go from there. And once she forgives you, I'm pretty sure the rest of the country will follow suit, because it's really about defending her.
And you can't please a hater. So I mean,
but she's not the hater. She's just somebody trying to protect her reputation.
She took him completely out of context. What up, panel? What up, everybody?
What's up, BMT?
GameChanger. What's going on, Azrael? What's going on, people? But I spoke with a Brazilian lawyer out there, and the only thing Austin really did wrong was he left, and that made him look, a certain way. When the Brazilian lawyer said, I mean, he had a case for defamation because she mistranslated his video purposely, taking advantage of the fact that most Brazilians don't speak English. Also, this story really doesn't have any layers. Like, we're giving it more life than what it needs to be, because nobody in Rio has heard about this shit. Like Citizen Lou referred to, the little article she put out, it's the same article with 6 outlets. Now, she does have reach. I mean, she does have reach. She got some clout for sure. But Brazil right now, and I just came from out there, I lived out there for close to a year, it's kind of split. It's like a civil war going on in Brazil. You got the Bolsonaro people who's like more like on some conservative Trump. They want Brazil to stay where it's at. Then you got the new president that's coming in, who was more on the LGBT agenda, basically to Trump.
More progressive.
To basically Trump black civil rights. So people thinking that this woman is a good thing. She's not. She's going to do the same thing that America did, which is Trump. Black people in Brazil are economically oppressed. Should be the main topic at hand. But as how they did us in America, they're gonna put the LGBT and the feminist stuff on top, and then forget about the real issues. And only a selective few people are going to actually benefit for all the momentum for the civil rights that should have been gained for Brazilians. So
and it's not going to be the people that it was meant for. Yeah.
Exactly. So she's using Austin for political clout. She totally lied in the article. Basically, Austin he might have could have worded some things a little bit better. And I do agree with the sister that I was just talking. Like, he could have worded some things, but I lived in Brazil, man. Brazil got a lot going on, and this is the least of their concerns of what's really going on in Brazil right now, bro. You got the army going against the goddamn police out there. Sorry, I didn't even curse, but you got some real issues out there in Brazil, bro. Some serious issues, and this don't got no legs, man. This gonna be forgotten about in a week out there, bro. Don't nobody in Rio heard about it.
So would you suggest to Austin just going back and just powering through it? Like, the outlet is not that big, just power through it. Nobody's gonna hate you on the streets. You don't have to worry about.
I mean, it's like a. I love Brazil, man, but it's just disheartening.
No, but in his situation, would you suggest that he just act like nothing happened and just keep doing what he do?
I think he did the right move by apologizing. He might have could have contacted a lawyer. That might have helped a little bit because the lawyer wanted to definitely take the case of defamation, because she blatantly lied, basically.
But you
really ain't too much you can do when somebody puts out a lie and get all their minions behind them. It really ain't too much you can do.
Well, but you live there. You live there. I just visited. So it's not, you talking about lawyers, it's not a legal thing. It's more of a social thing. Like, is he pariah because of this? Is what I'm saying. Like,
well, no, that's a lawyer thing because it's defamation. You can get
no. I get that.
But BMT said nobody knows about it like that. So to your question about the social thing, people not even aware of this article like that on boots on the ground.
Yeah, this is like more of a. I mean, it's like going mini viral in Atlanta or somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like it just
That's what
doesn't.
I'm
You know how
asking.
some stories hit the local news and some stories hit the national news. This is more like a local.
So then why did
news.
he leave? I thought,
So,
and I mean,
well,
I
that's
didn't
what
get
I'm
to see
asking. Hold
anything
on, Ruby.
before that. But
So I'm saying,
I
like, do
can
you think
explain
him
why he
leaving is an
left.
overreaction? That's what
Yeah,
I'm asking.
him leaving is an overreaction. Yes, Ruby.
Well,
He,
that's
he's
you,
not leaving
SZA,
because
but
they
I'm
were
asking
knocking on his
BMT because he's been
door
here longer.
No,
and they had pitchforks. He's just leaving.
No.
Just
hey,
oh, go ahead.
Bama,
I get it, brother. I
had
get it.
well,
Hold
he
on,
had
hold on.
previously
I'm asking
he had
BMT because
previously
he's lived there
mentioned
the longest.
in his community tab that he was going to do some traveling too, though.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I spoke to first of all, hi everybody. First and
Okay.
foremost, I spoke with him prior to this incident blowing up. He was supposed to go to Lima, but there was some riot or something going on, and they wouldn't let him into the country because
Yeah,
they
Lima was
wasn't
having
letting
problems
Americans
with it.
come in. So he
Yeah,
had to
all
change his
these.
travel plans.
Yeah.
So he's definitely on travel. He's on his way overseas, I believe to Philippines or Thailand, one of the two. So he's been on. He has travel plans, but this was before all this blew up. So
he had already had a trip.
He already had trip
booked.
planned.
Okay. Well, there you go,
And
Ruby.
you can look at his community tab for proof of that if you know.
And I
Is
disagree.
that my guy?
Being-
Who just spoke? What's is that?
Oh, that's me.
Oh, what's up, bro?
Oh,
It's good.
Hey, what's going
Global
on,
passport.
Yo,
Global passport
yo,
in the building.
BMT.
What's
I
up?
actually disagree about the apologizing. I mean, black men, we apologizing every day. It seems like every day we on TV with our heads down, and we making these tearful videos, and we the face of sex tourism, face of anti-Semitism, face of anti-LGBT, face of misogynism. No, I don't. What he didn't do anything wrong. Just because somebody clipped him a small sound bite. How many of us? We all most of us are content creators. How many times somebody done clipped us or saying a small thing out of context and somebody blowing it up? Anybody worried about this Stephanie chick? Anybody worried about like what they?
He's not
nobody's
apologizing
checking
to
for her like
Stephanie.
that.
He's not
it's happened to me, and I
apologizing.
apologized.
No,
So,
he's not apologizing to Stephanie. He's apologizing to the people who were affected in a negative way
Right.
because of the misunderstanding.
Man,
I get it, but you know, he's not. This is his first apology. If you feel that the black community over apologizes, and maybe it does, you know, this is number one for him. So, you know, that's that.
no, black men apologize too much.
Okay, if you see black men apologize too much, this is probably number one of his public apologies. So, you know, that's.
I mean, if you see her, if you look at her past tweets, I mean, she's definitely anti-family, anti-male. She's like, she feels uncomfortable when men look at her. She's just all types of little Me Too terminology.
She's like a Brazilian Karen.
Yeah, she's trying to get the Me Too movement out there popping, which is honestly speaking is pretty dangerous because, and this is why I be telling people about trying to mimic American culture. In America, we do have rights. We might not think we got rights, but in comparison to these other countries, you speak against the government, bro. You gonna disappear somewhere.
No, I agree. I was explaining
so
that when I
she should be focused on other things, but that's what she's trying to do. Because what she's going to do, she picked an easy target. American, hey, this is us against the Americans, the nasty, dirty, entitled Americans. And then once she gets off that, she's going to move on to the wealthy Brazilian men, who she already said in her tweet. She already posted that she got one of them knocked off. That's what she said. So she's on dangerous grounds. Anybody that goes against the government outside of the West, bro, is really on dangerous ass grounds. So
true. Off to
I'm
the
just gonna put it to you like that,
and that's why
we come from a very privileged society, and we don't really realize it until you start living overseas, where you speak against a Thai national if you want, you will be out of here. Not dead, but you're gonna be out the country. That's for damn sure.
Or in prison.
Or hell yeah, or in prison. Yeah, they'll hide you, bro.
I was saying that about the First Amendment right and how we assume that the rest of the world operate under that. Let me read this. So shout out to you, BMT. It says Shao Khan says BMT is in the house. Appreciate you.
Shao Khan.
Says these feminists / leftovers knew what was going on. Auston Holleman should have never apologized, regardless of if he paid for play. That exists in Brazil. It's not a pay for play thing with him. He's not apologizing for promoting sex tourism. I mean, if that's what she was saying, then she's exaggerating or just flat out lying. But, you know, from what I've seen of his videos, and I've seen some of his videos, he sticks to the non-pay-per-play women. You know, he's not interviewing the prostitutes. He's interviewing the young women who are not prostitutes. And, you know, he even said in his video that though he partook in prostitution, he doesn't recommend that lifestyle, that you shouldn't travel for it. So I don't think that that's what he's going with. His thing is really loosely related to the whole prostitution dynamic. Okay. Shao Kahn again, I appreciate you. It says, Austin should have apologized. He should have clarified, but shouldn't. Oh, wait. Austin should have apologized. He should have clarified, but not have apologized to the mob. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Apologize for what? What the heck? Okay. Now I'm confused because before you say he should have apologized. I get what you're saying. Like, he's apologizing for the effect of what happened. And I think that really warrants an apology. Like, you know, say you just open a door. You open a door like regular and somebody just runs into it and break their nose or something. It's like, listen, I didn't really do anything wrong. I opened it regular. You ran into it and now your nose broken. I'm sorry that happened, you know.
But
like,
it's one of those things. Here's my thing. This is my whole point of contention, right? I mean, when you're a black dude doing anything on the internet, the only way you're gonna make people happy is if you die.
Facts.
That's the only way you're gonna make. If you're a black dude on the internet doing any type of, especially I guess you would say controversial or polarizing content. I guess we could say him in that category, right? I mean, the only way. I mean, he could have did anything. He could have argued with a taxi cab driver, and they would be like, "Look how he treating taxi cabs. I'm looking at this American." It ain't even anything. He gonna have to apologize to all taxi cab drivers too.
I agree. However, this isn't okay. The American columnist or blogger or whatnot deserves nothing. She deserves nothing because she's a feminist and they're not real people. So she don't really deserve the respect of apology. I don't agree with, and I know what you're saying, Citizen Lou, when you say black man, like Snoop should not have been apologizing to that Gail bitch. Exactly. I agree. We do stuff like that far, far, far too often. What I'm saying is this is not that. That's all I'm saying. This is not that. If he was apologizing to the feminists, that's a whole different story. But, you know, to the woman who was affected in a negative way, you know, because of a cultural misunderstanding, then that is what should get an apology. That's what I'm saying.
Also, you have to keep in mind that, you know, he may have been apologizing because he did receive death threats and he just wanted to smooth it out and stuff like that. And, you know, he's not a citizen of that country, and there's a possibility he could have been deported for what he said, you know, and he just wanted to smooth things out and, you know, make everything normal because he really likes Brazil. He really does. And that's all he's trying to do, is just smooth everything out. And it's very unfortunate that she's probably doing this just for, like, you know, likes and, you know, clicks and all that other stuff.
No, she's doing it because she's a feminist and they're evil.
Brother, you really believe he was gonna get deported because of that?
Yeah, because he got a message from one of his friends.
They can label him an undesirable.
Well, that's what happened to my friend, which no one believed me. But I'm like, when the woman he was dating for years decided, right, to become a lying psycho chick. To be fair, he kind of knew she was a little psycho ahead of time, but then she had the police kicking down his door and stuff like that, and he went in hiding for like a week until he could get out of the country and get back to Canada. He plans on going back to Brazil, mind you, right? But he needed to be out of that situation in that moment. And so, you know, I think the thing is, a lot of times when we're from the West, we kind of apply all of our knowledge of how life works on other countries, you know, especially if, you know, it kind of almost seems like it might be, but like there's just like little nuances and little differences. I think he did the right thing by getting out of the country temporarily, at least, and just kind of observe from a place of safety and security, you know, until everything has been resolved. If you have to resolve more things, or if you have to get boots on the ground to go resolve more things, you can do that. But first, you should get a very clear understanding of where you sit, and if you've created any bigger issues with local anybody, whether it be police or government or whatever, and fix that first. That's what I think.
Yeah, but Ruby, they already told you he was already leaving. He's not okay. It doesn't matter.
Well, he's not on the undesirable list. Speaking of which, Ruby, aren't you on our undesirable list?
On
Aren't you in America's undesirable list? You are not allowed in my country.
No, I am not. No. They think that I'm going to run away and try to become an illegal Black immigrant in America. So
you are undesirable.
I was undesirable as of 2018 or 19, whatever year it was. I was suddenly banned because the border patrol has no oversight, and there's no one that. I mean, maybe now that Biden's in office, maybe some things have changed. I haven't tried to fix that problem at all because there was no one that they were answering to. So people were getting banned from Canada. Like, they would be asked, have you ever smoked a joint? And they'd be like, oh yeah, I smoked one 45 years ago in college, like 45 years ago. And they would get banned at the border. And there was no one you could complain to. Like, there's nothing you could do for the time that Trump was in office. So it's happened to a lot of people. Yeah.
You on that list. All right. So Ben Cisco says, this was a planned takedown with females who hate Black men here working with the females in Brazil. This problem originated in the U.S. Yes. Yes, they did say that the Stephanie chick is a U.S. woman. She's a U.S. B-dub, and she probably has more hair on her armpits than she does on her head. She's a feminist. So, yes, they will try to stop male happiness. That is the ultimate goal of feminism, is to stop male happiness. And the ultimate goal of Black feminism is to stop Black male happiness. So, and Austin was happy. So of course they sniff out happiness. They sniff out Black male happiness in any path to get it as a bad thing. If they could make it illegal in any way, they can.
Yeah, exactly. What y'all niggas having fun over here? Y'all
exactly.
Y'all gleeful. Y'all very and happy. Yeah,
exactly. Smiling? Like,
you smiling?
This motherfucker smiling. Yeah, they are on it.
Where's that scowl, nigga? Why you ain't grinding your teeth?
Right,
exactly.
You ain't got the real nigga face on.
Well, it does seem like the way that the message is presented makes a difference as to the way that feminism tends to attack it. So, like with the Filipino women, right, and the men who are going to the Philippines, a lot of the message seems to like really highly be on the way cohabiting life is, right? So look at this way that this woman treats me: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. She's cooking, she's cleaning, she's this and she's that. And then the Filipino women are kind of basically saying the same thing: a great man who wants to come home to you and he'll and he'll let you this and that and whatever. And so the way that message is presented, it's like the women have really nothing to say except to try to attack the women and call them male identified or call them brainwashed by society or whatever. Whereas if the message is less about, actually cohabiting life and just more about just life, just living, and you see a lot of, I mean, again, I didn't watch, it's not like I've been watching Auston Holleman's content for like years or something. I watched several of his videos back when the last issue happened, and there's a lot of videos of him around very beautiful women and kind of like, outside in the nightlife and whatever. And so I think
when you were watching the videos, did you have your fist balled up like when you were clicking on the next video? Your fist like balled up, or no?
No.
Like Arthur? You were like the Arthur?
Yeah, yeah. Do you have like a little grinding your teeth a little bit when you click?
Well, no, but number one, I'm not American.
How did you really feel? Be honest. Like what we talk about.
No, but that's the thing.
I'm teasing with you. I'm teasing Ruby.
No. Because the thing is, right, is that like the way that
like you're not American. Right? What nationality you hail from?
I think you're Jamaican, right, Ruby?
I'm Jamaican Canadian. So to begin with, most of what he's talking about are American women. But beyond that point is I don't have an issue with what he's saying about the women in Brazil. My issue has to do with like when I see massive holes in the advice or lack thereof that he's giving to the young men who are watching and who've never even traveled outside of their state, let alone the country. You know, and I'm like, oh my God, no, he shouldn't have said that. He should have told them this. He should have explained the differences in culture here, here, and here, because it's different, right? But I'm like, that's always been my issue in general with some of these content creators, is when they don't address the way that America and these other countries are different culturally, expectation wise, you know, and what you would need to do to keep yourself safe, to keep yourself off of, you know, having a target on your back or whatever it is. And so that was a lot of my issue. But when I looked at it, I was like, no, he seems very much like, not everyone who's in Passport Bros, mind you, but when I watched Auston specifically, it very much seemed like that's what he was doing, was sex tourism. So I'm like, it didn't look like he was out there trying to find a wife. It looked like he was kind of out there to, you know, get his D wet. And I was like, that's fine. That's cool. You can do that. You're a young man. You're not ready to settle down yet.
No,
fine,
no. We don't need your permission. Listen,
you see how she played that?
Yeah,
exactly.
No,
but that's fine. You did subtly try to manage.
We do not need
no,
your
you asked what I was.
I didn't say
you
did. The one wetting it. Unless
but
you're
I didn't
the one wetting it,
you
don't need your
but I
permission.
like, yo, that's cool.
That's how I feel.
Y'all have
just
permission.
asked how I feel. No, you asked how I feel about it. So I'm telling you what I feel.
I understand. But what I'm saying is that we don't need the permission to do that. And also, your judgment really shouldn't be a factor here. Because let's face it, you know, no matter what, no matter if it's pay for play, no matter if you want to do the player thing in another country, or no matter if you want to get married to one or more women, it all ends with you getting your dick wet. Like, no matter what, men want it wet. And we shouldn't have to be ashamed of that in any way, shape, or form.
No, my judgment doesn't matter at all. But that country and that culture and the way that culture might perceive casual sex culture or sex tourism does matter.
No,
that actually does matter.
The country understands, just like every other country in the world understands, that men like sex. Let's be clear. What they don't like is they don't like having it discussed. That's what we're talking about. You know, women want to maintain a certain level of at least the appearance of piety, so they don't turn into these slut walking American bitches. That is what they are avoiding. They are avoiding the mentality to where it's dinner conversation and stuff like that. That's what they want to that's what they want to ward off. And that's a cultural difference. That's what he was treading towards. Yeah, that's the cultural difference. But no, it's nothing wrong with a man getting his dick wet.
I didn't say
let me do this. I literally said there wasn't. No, but the fact that you have to give it credence, the fact that you have to say it's okay. It's assumed okay.
It's not that I have to say it's okay. And so I was saying that, no, exactly. That's why I said he's a young man. He's not ready to settle down yet. There's nothing wrong with that. However, there is something wrong with not letting men know who are going to follow in his footsteps that, hey, culturally, this place is not America, right? They're not okay with 304 culture like America, Canada, some of the West is, right? So you've got to tread differently. You've got to approach things differently. Some countries, depending on what country they are, they have a 304 class. And that is literally, those are the women you can mess with. They're all very beautiful women and whatever, but it's a 304 class. You don't mess with the women outside of that because it'll be a problem. So you should know that, varying from country to country. And if you're not giving that information and you've never left the country, then you might make some really dangerous mistakes. That's what my issue is.
You're not, see, that's another thing too. That's some Catcher Freeman type. You're saying if they step outside the 304 class is an issue. That's another misnomer.
I said some countries. I didn't say all countries. I said some countries have a 304 class.
Okay, I thought you were talking about Brazil. Okay, I got you.
Well, let's do this. Let me read King Sigmund because he has a question for BMT, and then I'm gonna go to Blue TV because we've been waiting patiently. All right, so it says he had his bad connection. It says, let's see. Do y'all have content creators on Passport Bros breaking down the laws around sex tourism, public filming in these foreign lands? That's you, BMT.
I don't understand the question. Hold on. What did he say now?
So I think what he's getting at is, do you have like advice on what to film, what not to film, what to do in certain countries, what not to do in certain countries as it relates to making content? Do y'all have like bylaws or something like that? Which is something I was suggesting directly to Auston 2 weeks ago.
No, we don't. We don't even really touch on the sex tourism thing. But as far as public filming, I tell guys, you got to be careful putting your camera up in people's faces, especially, here in Thailand. They do have a law about that. But other than that, I don't even say anything about no sex tourism.
Okay, but I mean, he wasn't really. I think he was asking more about the camera laws and not really the sex tourism laws, but more like just the filming in general. Because
you definitely got to be careful. I mean, some people don't want to be on camera.
Just to piggyback off of that, there is a content creator who's about to be charged with that in the Philippines right now. And this happened around the same time Austin controversy just happened. Black YouTuber, he was caught filming. He's been having issues with the Thai police. He was banned off of one particular street, one popular street down in Thailand. I forgot, Angeles City somewhere. And
that's in the Philippines.
Oh, that expat Kings dude, right?
Yeah. Expat King.
Yeah. What happened? I don't even know what happened with that.
He filmed some. I don't know if these girls were underage or something, but he was behind them and he was filming them. He's kind of a creepy dude. He just films women all over the place and without their permission and stuff, and he posts them. So I think
he is a creepy dude. I can't cap. He is like he do give off like some real creep vibes. I can't even cap like that.
Yeah, I saw his videos coming up in my feed. I'm like, who is this guy?
I remember he had a blog, but he never cammed up.
The titles, I was like, bro, you tripping.
Wait a minute, he's following underage girls. I mean, it's bad.
I think they said he was
even
at a
if
school.
they're regular age, but he's filming booty from behind, like for long periods of time. Not like he's walking behind them and it just happens to catch it. He's focused on it. Like you're calling him creepy. I like some substance on it. Like, what is he doing?
I do. He got like a lopsided afro. He be in like a dingy room, right?
Because remember he had that blog, but nobody knew what he looked like, and then he made the YouTube.
Yeah,
channel.
right.
Now everybody know what he looked like.
Like,
I ain't trying to be funny, but yeah, all his shorts and him like walking
man with a lopsided
chicks,
afro.
It is kind of creepy. I ain't gonna cap. Like if you look at like his shorts, like they're all like him like behind women, and like it is kind of like I ain't gonna care. It is kind of crazy.
I just saw his video, man. It was like he's from the 70s.
You talking about that fro? Yeah, that's fro. Yeah, he need to shape that up. But,
yeah, and that's
I mean, if he's in the Philippines, who knows how to shape up a fro there? So
YouTube,
and that's the second YouTuber in trouble because another one got arrested for alleged the R word, but that seemed consensual. But that apparently the person he did it with was a minor.
Now, Expat King, he's in Philippines though. He's not in Thailand. Am I correct?
Yeah,
he's in
the
Philippines.
Well, he said Angel City.
This is a second YouTuber.
Oh, okay. I'm just making sure I'm following it. Okay, and then now the other dude,
excuse me.
The charge is he white or black?
My bad.
It's one guy black and one guy white.
Okay, so the dude, Expat Kings is black, but the other dude you're talking about is white. The guy, okay, I'm following. Okay.
Yeah,
just want to make sure I'm tracking.
All right, so we're gonna go to Baloo TV and then we're gonna go to H&M. Blue, you there? All right, H&M, what's on your mind? Oh, he's gone too.
Can I just say this? I'm really afraid because a lot of people look up to Austin. Like I see a lot of passport bros ranting and raving about Austin. And with this whole situation, I know I said this already, but I do think this may discourage a lot of guys. Because even my brother, he said he went over there. When he was over there recently, he said that he was kind of afraid because the way they were like treating him over there, the way like the guys were looking at him when he was with, these beautiful women. So I just hope that, everything is cool over here in these other countries.
Yeah, I don't think that it would definitely affect your brother in a negative way. I think that it is like they say it'll blow over, but I think that it affects Austin more than anybody. But even with that, I don't think it's a huge thing. Yeah, because then other passport bros should worry about.
Right, because what if this is like news in these other countries? Like if they see this and they're thinking, "Oh, American men are bad. This is what they want to come and do." And as
it is news, but they have their own perception. Okay, put it like this: too much of this can have the effect that you're describing. This one incident, I most certainly don't think that's the case. And they don't want to close down that industry. And by industry, I mean tourist industry, not necessarily sex tourism industry. They don't want to close down tourism, by making a bunch of tourists feel uncomfortable any more than we want it closed down. So I don't see it escalating to that point. I do think that this is a hit in a movement that's very new, but has received a lot of momentum in a very short period of time recently. So I do think that it stifles that momentum a little bit, but outside of that, I don't see it happening.
Because all of the black men I know who went to these countries, they all either, like my Uncle Darren, he married a Dominican woman. He's over there. He married her. He's with her. You know what I mean? I know plenty of people that go over there and just get with these women, and they're happy. They're not over there trying to have sex with people. Not the people I know, at least.
You know what's funny? I had a cousin, John. Like he's like my dad's cousin. I didn't know for the longest time. I didn't know his wife was from Panama. I just assumed she was just like a brown, brown skin. Right. It's like a regular black woman. I just this whole time until like a couple years ago, they told me like they had met in Panama back in like 04, 05. I was like, oh, I had no idea. She was a Panamanian woman.
My mom looks like a regular black woman, and she's not.
Understand this, Melody, and I want to make this clear. And I know I'm pushing this point too hard, but your uncle do want to have sex with him. That's why he married her. Like that, sex is part of marriage. Listen, I don't want people to feel shamed if you go somewhere and you have sex with a woman. I want men to be able to say, yes, proudly, I like having sex with women everywhere I go. If I go to the gym, I hope there's some pussy there for me. If I go to the grocery store, I hope there's some pussy there for me right next to the ice cream. Okay. Each and every single place I go, I hope that there's pussy there. Shouldn't be ashamed of that. So we don't have to say, oh no, I'm going for this, and this. Listen, you could go for that too, but don't pretend like you don't hope it's pussy there for you, because you do.
Yeah, like
your
that's what I'm saying.
Did, and everybody do.
When Negroes go to Miami, Vegas,
exactly,
All-Star Weekend, Houston,
Freaknik back in the day,
Freaknik, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody is dick sniffing and following niggas around everywhere they go. It's crazy. You go out of America now. It's just, oh yeah, you niggas going there straight for pussy. You're not seeing mountains. You're not going for the museum. Look, man, fuck the museum. Why you care what I'm doing?
Exactly. No, I was in Brazil. I seen the Big Jesus. I got pictures of me at the Big Jesus, and I still want some pussy. Like, there's no shame in that. The fellas, don't let the D police, deter you. Melody, your uncle wanted some pussy too.
But unfortunately,
no. But what I'm saying is, I'm saying going over there just having sex with everybody. That's what I'm saying. Like,
what's funny though? Like I know white guys in the DR. They go to the DR. And they tell their wives that they going, fishing. They going, just deep sea fishing and everything. And they do it for one day, and they change their t-shirts to make it look like they went out for 4-5 days. And they basically, doing their thing out there. It's just what men do, man. There's nothing around it. Men love sex. Women love resources. It is what it is. It ain't gonna change.
That's a believable story because they come back smelling like tuna.
I mean, shout out to Sasua. Shout out to Sasua.
Well, you know what?
You know what the funny thing is? I bet they wives on the other side of the island doing the same damn thing.
They're somewhere in Gambia or Jamaica messing with Dexter.
But see, that's the thing, though, right? I mean, men love sex, and let's be real. Women love sex too. Like that's just what it comes down to. But the thing is that like countries, right, especially countries that do have an intact patriarchy at all, right, they understand the value of the virtuousness of their women. And I don't mean like as a generalized thing. I mean as in their literal, my daughter, my sister, like the women that they claim, right? And so when it starts becoming problematic because there's a lot of people coming into the country, who are willing to kind of, give them that casual sex experience and ruin the virtuousness and whatever. And then they start inventing laws that only affect the locals. right? Not obviously, they don't want to affect tourism, right? So they don't want to affect you coming to their country or investing your dollars in their country, but then they absolutely do want to affect and penalize locals, and they do that, and they've done that in, you know, a few Caribbean countries, a few European countries, and whatnot, and they do that. And I mean, I'm not saying that you're not from those countries, so why would you care, right? But the point is that the fact that they've done it, and you know, the past and in recent history would suggest that they do pay attention to these things, and they do care overall about how their country is being represented, what their reputation is in other countries, and how people are coming to treat, you know, their commodities, including their women.
I agree with that. That they care, and you should be mindful of that. You know, and respect the culture that you're going to. But I'm not talking to the cultures that I'm going to. I'm talking to the local bitches who feel that they could shame me out of stating my biological desires. You're not. You know, that's what I'm talking about. I'm gonna mute you, man.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree, because what the statement she said, because even in Cambodia, and Cambodia is, you know, that's the real Southeast Asia. That's, you know, a lot going on out there as well. They have this law where if you put any of their women like on any sexually suggestive type of content, they'll lock you up. They lock some Chinese guys up for making a condom commercial out there. You know, just to sell condoms, they had some girls, you know, walking around with some rubbers, and they locked those Chinese dudes up. So she's right. You know, people care about, even though the country itself might have a lot going on with the wildness of it, they want to be perceived in a positive manner. They don't want to have their women out there. So she's right.
Exactly. We have so many freedoms that, because we want that too. We don't want to, and that's why I brought up the slut walking thing. We don't want to live in a country where stuff like that is normalized in front of our daughter's elementary school. We don't want no crap like that. But because we have so many freedoms, you know, and that's one of the things that we're escaping, we allow that. So understand that when you escape those freedoms, there's a price for paradise. And, you know, the price is you got to at least create the illusion of virtue, you know, and keep what goes on behind consenting adults behind closed doors. And that's real. And that's an easy enough thing to do.
I was going to say this towards what Ruby was talking about in terms of patriarchy and whatnot, and defending the honor. Isn't that more of an indictment on Black society or Black people in America? You know what I mean?
Black women, because they have no virtues to defend.
Yeah, that's
what
I was thinking about.
Yeah, that's what she's implying. She's saying that, you know, Black men have long given up virtues, you know. Like, who's going out there saying, you know, you besmirched my sister, and then you smack him with a white glove just to find out that your sister was twerking backwards? Like, you know, like, there's no sense in defending. What are you defending at that point?
Besmirched my sister.
Well, yeah. I mean, we have a lot of fatherless homes and a lot of fatherless people, right? For a variety of reasons. We have the fact that, honestly, even when you do have fathers in the home or just, you know, close in contact, that you have feminism and other types of movements that make women, as soon as they're of age or they're able to do so, to rebel, and no one can tell them nothing. No one can tell them what you're going to do or da 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 da. We're no longer in a culture in the West where what our parents say matters above all, and disappointing our father and having our father look at us and we're not his little girl anymore is irrelevant. Whereas that would have been the biggest loss in the world not that long ago, right? So in the West, it's very, very different. And I think that because it's so different, I think sometimes we have a hard time conceptualizing what those things mean to people outside of the West, who either see us, or when we go to their country, what they see when they look at us. Like, and that's why a lot of women who go traveling, they don't have the same experience. That's why they can't necessarily relate when men say, no, I'm really going abroad looking for a husband, or for a wife, because they can't go abroad looking for a husband, because, you know, the people abroad are looking for, you know, levels of virtue and levels of self-respect and levels of, okay, I got to meet your father and your family and all these different aspects of culture that they just weren't raised with, right? That's why they think it's okay to go abroad and sleep with a bunch of people, right?
Yeah, I'm so glad you made that statement, because I was talking with some sisters out there in Brazil, and one of them was, you know, she was logical and level-headed about the dating Brazilian men. The other one was kind of on some fantasy stuff. But she kept it $150. She was like, yeah, Aaron's good. He's a guy. He can date Brazilian women, but the Brazilian men don't want us. And the other girl can relate to what she was saying. She was like, look, Brazilian men gonna want a woman from their culture with their values. You know, they don't want to sit there and try to figure out, you know, why you're not doing what you're doing.
Yeah, why the house not clean?
It's much easier for men to go travel abroad and meet wives because it's like a plug and play. The standards are so high in America that when an American man leaves Brazil or leaves the West and he dates a foreign woman, she's looking at us like, damn, this guy really got it together. You know, so
yeah,
it's like the perfect storm was created. Now, when the woman goes and travel overseas, that foreign guy is going to be real hard on her because in his culture,
Keisha, why is the goat meat not cooked?
The women like the women do what they tell them to do. You know what I'm saying? What the men tell the women to do. These women cook, they clean, they know how to take care of a man. You coming in there with some money thinking that, well, I got more money and they just gonna finesse you and be out and be right back with they women. And that's just a true reality. You might have some spots like Italy or something that you might can get away with the American, you know, cultural values of women, but overseas, man, it's a done deal. You're not gonna get into a real relationship. They're gonna use you for the money. In my opinion, more women get used than men. For money.
Oh, by far, yeah.
I've seen it. They even have terms like Sanky Panky in the DR and Gigolo in Colombia.
There was that one chick.
Well, they talk about the whole African thing. This is major industry between European women and African men. It's major.
Yeah, in Gambia. Were you saying something, Lou?
I was saying, they did a breakdown. Some chick went to DR and got pregnant by a Dominican dude with no job, no nothing. Couldn't even speak English, and she a single mom from a foreign nigga. Like,
yeah, but I mean, sperm banks are empty, so they.
That's crazy. How you get pregnant by? It's one thing to get, some black women get pregnant by niggas that can't read, but a nigga that can't speak English, like
nigga can't. Yeah, you got finessed by nigga that can't say hello.
Hey, so the dude on your screen right now is the last nigga to defend a black woman's honor.
This nigga got stomped out.
Man, he shot the block over her though, for real.
Yeah, exactly. So
he shot the block because he got
almost got an innocent kid. Got Sharif, he didn't do nothing. Got Kane. Like, yeah. That's what happens when you try to defend the honor because somebody. Hey, I'm Ayana's cousin. I don't like the way you've been talking to her. I don't like the way you've been dogging her.
Trey whooped his ass.
Yeah, exactly. This is why this was a long time ago. Brothers have long since learned, like, you cannot protect the honor of a dishonorable woman. Like, you can't. Other countries, Ayana's cousin will still step up to you because they at least keep their escapades private. All right, H&M, what's on your mind?
What's up, GameChanger?
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing much. Now, to piggyback off what you said earlier about people going overseas or whatever, and you're absolutely right. There is no shame in going overseas hoping to get some action on the side. I think the problem people have is they feel like men are going overseas just for that purpose. I mean, you should go overseas to explore the country, see other cultures, see what the world's like outside the U.S. But people think that we go overseas just for the women, just to get some poontang on the side. No, If that's why you're going overseas, then I see no reason to do that. So you should go overseas to explore the culture.
Can I ask a question? What do you think those white men came out of Europe for? You think it was they were trying to see culture? I'm talking about like in the 1400s. What did they come out of Europe for? Was it for the culture or what was it for?
To spread Christianity and the missionary and missionary style.
Yeah, okay.
But Hustler Musker,
combination of all that.
So I see what he's saying.
Question. I got a rebuttal.
I see what he's saying because they did bring tobacco seeds and did their business, but let's not pretend like that wasn't a part of it.
But here's my thing.
They had massive sexual rape camps all throughout South America, bro. Like,
right,
giving out syphilis.
But to the point, but to your point, Hustler Muzz, I want to say this though. What if I told you that women are the gateways to culture? You're gonna have a fast track to being embraced in the culture through the women.
Facts.
Yeah, hey, I say go for it, but you do it at your own risk. Just make sure you know a little something about the culture, because you know when you go to a new country, people gonna look at you like you're basically a stranger. But then again, that's anywhere you go. That's anywhere you go, I guess.
Hold on, Ezra. You got it. You got an H&M.
No, I was just saying, but by all means, if you feel like you're going to get a fair deal with a woman overseas, because you know the culture's different, the narratives are different, everything's different compared to out here in the West, I say go for it, but go for it at your own risk. You know.
Azrael, what's up?
No, I mean, I don't. To me, it's like when it comes to Americans, right? And I hate to say this, it's like sometimes we could be the most clueless people. Like if you ask the average American, like who was the second president, like most Americans wouldn't know. Like, you know what I mean? That especially Gen Z, whatnot.
John Adams.
Know. Yeah, but
the third was Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah,
and then the fourth was John Quincy Adams.
Exactly. But my point being is like when people say like learn the culture, it's like Americans don't even know their culture here. Like who I think it was Lincoln was the 16th, right? Or the 15th.
Yeah,
16th.
before him was Buchanan, right? When it became
exactly. But like if you ask like
Ulysses.
Ask somebody like, okay, who was the president in 1992 before Clinton took off? Like if you ever see these questions, they'll do questions.
That would be James Garfield.
No, I said 92. I said 92, like 1992. That's what I'm talking about. So
no, Clinton was president in 92, if I remember correctly. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I think Clinton took office in 92, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Let's not make this a social studies class. Let's not do that.
Yeah, no, more or less. Okay, I didn't mean to be semantics, but more or less what I'm saying is people don't know the culture in America themselves. You know what I mean? It's saying like, so I hate when people say, oh, you need to learn the culture, you need to learn the language, or well, Lou was talking about before is like somebody said the barge. Marco funny. All right, like when people say, oh, I've heard people say, when you go to these countries, are you building businesses there? It's like I've always said this time and time again. Why are black men expected everywhere we go? We gotta fight white supremacy on all fronts. We gotta build Wakanda HQs everywhere across the globe. Like it's like sometimes they just want to relax.
Like how they said, passport bros. We need to start create some kind of union or something, or some type of
some niggas.
You know what I'm saying? Like we need to start paying dues, and we need to start passport policing niggas, like stuff like that. Like, bro, if you want to go to another country and you in hopes of finding a woman, that's your business. Do what you do. Like that's cool. But you wouldn't be the first. You won't be the last. My problem is when people. Peter, not saying this is you, but people H&M, but people act like they care. Like if you get caught up or something, they be like, "See, man, y'all gonna get caught up. Y'all don't care. Y'all just gonna laugh and sniggle and giggle and make YouTube streams laughing at niggas if they do get caught up. So y'all don't act like you care that black men are probably gonna be in a bad situation. It's just crazy. Like, it's just a fake caring. They're using like this shield to act like you care. In reality, you're really dick policing.
Now, with that being said, Lou, remember that conversation we had like about 2 months back, right? Now, compare this with what Austin is going through. Compare this to what happened to Shanquella Robinson in Mexico. It was like this whole thing, like, oh, we gotta protect black women, this and third. Like everybody was out crying.
Yeah, no, they blame black men for that. They flipped it, said it was black men's fault.
Yeah, and then it's like now, like I thought we all black here. It's like, okay, Austin is in a situation where in his mind, he probably feel like his life is threatened. Everybody just making fun of him. You know what I mean? It's like it just shows you, like, when it comes to brothers, like people, you really just got your own back. Like no one is out here trying to have your best interest in hand. Everybody faking the funk.
Yeah.
H&M, you got a response?
Well, all I can say, ain't nothing wrong with you going overseas to build a business or whatever. Because I've heard of people doing that. But let's say you go overseas, you meet a woman, you're there just for the women. Let's say you're there just for the women. You meet a woman, find her attractive, you want to marry her. Okay, what do you do from there? Do you stay in the country, or you want to take a risk and bring her overseas so y'all can build a life there? Which do you think is the best option? Which option would y'all prefer to do?
Just to be clear, as far as it relates to other Americans, there's nothing wrong with anything that I do in other countries. If I want to, if I want to go to Japan just to shave my head with a samurai sword, there is nothing wrong with that. If I want to go to the Philippines and make prostitutes race each other down the street and the winner gets $5, which I've done, there is nothing wrong with that. There is, huh?
I said you're crazy. Really?
No, I'm saying like there shouldn't be nothing wrong with most anything that we want to do. If I want to see midget wrestling, there's nothing. If I want to see a monkey knife fight in Thailand, there is nothing. Why is anything wrong? That's what I'm getting at, Husk. Why is anything wrong with what we want to do as long as we're not interfering with the local, culture? We're not wrecking their stuff. If I want to go and do that, that is my prerogative. I don't see if there's anything wrong with anything we do, and we shouldn't be answerable to each other for these things. And I do want to see a monkey knife fight. I'm not going to lie. I want to see it in real life.
I was going to say, is that a real thing?
It's a real thing. Monkey knife fight. You could Google it. It's a real thing. Monkeys hold knives and they fight each other.
I've seen dog fights. I've seen horse fights and bull fights, but monkey fights, nope, never seen that.
And they use knives. Yep, it happens.
Yeah, King Simon made a good point. It's like black men aren't allowed to take vacation for leisure. Why do I got to go to Brazil and start a business? Why I got to start a hot dog stand? Why do I got to sell T-shirts? Why do I got to, open up a bar? Why do I have to do that? Why can't I just be there and have fun? Why can't I, like you said, why can't I have hoe racing? You know what I'm saying? Why can't I do that? Why can't I make a BBL derby? Why can't I do that? Why can't I do whatever I want to do? Why is it all these stipulations? You know what I'm saying? Why I gotta start a business. I gotta make sure if I want to just do what I want to do. I keep hearing these things. Like I hear other dudes who travel, they come to these other like Zero was saying is a lot of dudes that they go to Platinum Channel as passport bros, and they try to like qualify themselves. Yeah, my girl, man, she a lawyer. She a doctor, man. Man, I've been to Brazil. Man, stop all that. Stop qualifying yourself. Why you I got a business. Nobody cares. They don't care. They still think you lame. They still when they get off the panel with you, they gonna snickle and they gonna laugh at you behind your back. It don't matter. You might well just do you. Just be you.
Exactly. Bobby Brown, it's my prerogative. I could do what I want to do. Exactly.
Yeah, because remember that the DGC. I mean, they still that thing, but they still use that against you, and that wasn't even
the stove.
That wasn't even crazy.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they were on that point for a year, and it's bro, it wasn't even that crazy.
Years, yeah. So for those of you who don't know, years ago, like over 5 years ago, I spent some weeks with a Dominican woman, and like the last 4 days of the trip was of a trip, because I spent time with her multiple trips. The last 4 days of a trip was spent in her apartment, and she had a son. We went to the store. I was going to get her son a playpen, but I bought her a stove instead because she didn't have a stove in her apartment. And I told the story, and niggas went nuts ever since. Like, I still don't understand. I still don't understand what's the big deal, but it is what it is.
But that was your money, and I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money.
Well, don't, because I'm going to do what I want to do anyway. Exactly. If I want to spend the $5 to race the prostitute, listen, nothing y'all say to me is going to stop me from doing what I want to do. Like, nothing.
You got to understand, GC, it's lame to be reciprocating towards women according to like black gamesman logic. If you got game, you would know that you're supposed to give the least amount and take the most. Take and give barely minimum. They're just breadcrumb women to death.
Yeah, man. And it was a foreign stove too. It didn't speak English. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it wasn't an American.
I do agree with that. You should learn the language. But I kind of thought that was kind of like understood. I thought that really needed to be explained for the most part. Yeah. Which you should definitely be practicing the target language. That way you can, be better. What's the word?
And shout out to Austin for doing that.
Yeah, he said he started doing Duolingo last year, I believe.
Yeah, he said
I'm not a big fan of Duolingo. I don't really recommend Duolingo, but hey, if it works for you, let it rock.
I'm
I
not.
just want to shout out the panel, man. I appreciate y'all letting me come on. Game Changer. Appreciate you letting me come on, bro.
Oh, thanks for coming
All
on,
right,
brother.
all right, bro.
Appreciate
Take it easy, BMT.
Shout out BMT, man.
Let it be BMT.
Peace, man.
All right. Let's go to Cloud. It's been waiting a while.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Just wanted to give my support. I missed a part of the conversation, but it kind of sounds like we were talking about Austin's journey. Like, do you guys have an opinion on whether or not he should stay in the country? I don't know if you covered that already.
Well, BMT who just left was saying that he feels that he should. I personally feels it depends on his comfort level. Like, if you have a bad, if you have a blight on your reputation, that could make it uncomfortable for you. Maybe not even, I wouldn't even venture as far as to say unsafe, but if it makes you feel uncomfortable around the people because of a headline or something like that, then you probably should leave. Like,
I would so agree with that.
You're not going to stay there, if you feel uncomfortable. That's just,
Yeah, it kind of sounds like he's, and don't get me wrong, I've watched a lot of his videos and enjoyed the content, but it definitely sounds like he's looking to head out. And I honestly don't think that's a bad decision. Like, I've kind of gone back and forth thinking about whether he should stand there 10 toes down or go back. But I just think, given the fact that it's Brazil, it's not the US. No matter what we want to say, it's not the US. It's not the same thing. And he is a foreigner. It's probably a good idea for him to head back. So
right now he's in Sao Paulo, and
I wouldn't say head back. You saying come back to Dallas?
Oh, not necessarily Sorry, I should rephrase that. Head somewhere else. Leave the country. Leave the country.
Depending on the span of the article, yeah. I mean, you're in a place to be comfortable and to be happy, and if you're excommunicated, not necessarily doing anything illegal or but if you're excommunicated and is socially uncomfortable, then yeah, you go to a place where you're socially comfortable. That's the whole point of travel.
But here's the thing with him. He already has a condo down there that he
True.
leased. So
true. Yeah. That is bad. Because you spending money, even though he said it's like under $500.
Yeah,
and he probably has like it's 6 months.
You know what? He got 6 months lease. I don't think he got more than that.
Yeah,
6 lease. And if it's been 3 or 4 months, it loses 2-3 months.
Yeah, so lose about 1,000, maybe 2.
Yeah, and his place, he said, is just going to be pretty much home base. He's going to do some traveling anyway, so he just wanted that place to be kind of like his home base while right now he's in Sao Paulo, and then he's going to be shooting over to the Philippines, I believe.
Yeah, man, you should travel, man. It's so easy to travel. I mean, I'm over 100 countries deep, so that's like.
Speaking of which, Marco, what's your avatar? Is that Argentina in the back?
That is Argentina.
Oh, that's Argentina. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's Argentina. That's glacier. That's the glacier park in La Calafate.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
That's on my bucket list.
Yeah, man, that thing is like it's 80 what they call 80 meters high, 150 low. So that's 230 meters and 240 square kilometers of just black ice and growing.
Yeah.
It's
I didn't know it was that cold. I didn't know it got that cold in South America. I didn't know.
Oh yeah, man. It's because it's right there. It's right next to South.
Next to Antarctica, right?
Yeah, exactly. That was what? Exactly a month ago. Exactly 4 weeks ago. Pretty cool. Nice.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, Argentina's a beautiful place, man. It's like I have a friend there, and that's another thing too. When you go to these other countries, you just if you're a cool person, like you make so many friends. Like I've exchanged Christmas gifts for people from like different countries and whatnot. Like it's real cool. You meet some really nice people. I think when you're in America, sometimes you get real guarded and you expect hostility. Other people, you could just chat them up. Everybody's, for the most part, I've spoke to some Dutch people. They're just really laid back and chill.
I agree, but like if Austin is in a situation where they're no longer chill and they'll no longer chat them up because they read an article, then and that's really like the primary reason of being there. The primary reason of being anywhere, even if it's not sex, is still the people. Like so. Yeah, and hopefully this is just something that'll blow over, and you know, he can go back, because it really does seem like he want to set roots there, like he want to make that his home base.
Yeah, he could do much more. I mean, he was already there. He could do more, not just the talk to the chicks. He could do much.
But Marco, let's keep it real. That's what gets the views. Let's keep it real.
That's what gets the crowd going, right?
Yeah, it keeps the people going.
I got you.
It's provocative.
Yo, I got a tickling channel. I got you, homie. I understand.
Oh yeah. You're
not wrong. Actually. He could do, he could do the foodie tour. He could do but let's keep it real, man. Everybody want to see.
Niggas don't want to see the foodie. They want to see the booty.
Yeah, but that's facts. You know what I'm saying? Trying to see those plates.
I'm sorry. Yeah, but when you look at the other homeboys, like the check.
Check in effect. I watch his stuff.
He still shows the booty. He still got a lot of views, but he still shows the booty, but he shows everything else. That's what I'm saying. So he sneaks, he puts it on there, but it's not strictly like, let me interview this hoe. If you like, what kind of a dick you like?
But
you like,
do you like anal?
Are you kind of is Marco Borgen for y'all? Or is it me?
I don't hear him Borgen.
He's not Borgen on my end.
You were Borgen a little bit, Marco. But Marco, y'all know Aces Live. He was doing that. He built at first. He was just going around following chicks. You know what I'm saying? He was going around following chicks and looking at booties. And then his channel got big enough. He said, "I'm done with you." He said, "Passport nigga." He said, "Y'all unfollow. I don't like y'all. Y'all lames." And he started doing other content. But he definitely used the booties to build his channel.
Why don't I like him?
But I feel like Ace and Check in Effect kind of got in and got out, specifically in Brazil before the climate changed to them getting their eyes set on Passport Bros, because that has come. I actually didn't mention it, but I'm in Brazil and I've been here for quite some time, and the eyes are definitely still kind of suspicious towards foreigners in certain areas. So I kind of see it.
What is suspicious?
Well, what do you mean still? What do you mean still? Like, what started the suspicion?
That's such a good question. From my experience, and I haven't been here a tremendous amount of time. I've been here for about a year and a half, roughly. It was a splurge of videos with people walking along Copacabana Beach in Rio, filming women, and eventually they started noticing that they were being filmed, because I'm not going to call out YouTubers by name, because that's not what this panel is really about or what I'm trying to do. But there were some YouTubers that would just shoot beach videos. They would just grab their camera and they'd be shooting high quality beach videos, but without asking anyone on the beach if they could be in the video or if they wanted to be in the video. And yeah, the whole idea was that they were just shooting the scenery and the water and the sand, but realistically speaking, they were shooting ass. So I think that started getting some attention, and that was probably maybe like 2 years ago. And now it's kind of on a level where, when you do interact with people, they do ask you in, I don't want to say a judgmental voice, but they are asking you why you're here. Like, what exactly brings you here? And you can tell it's coming from a place of not necessarily judgment or aggression. It's not really on that level, but they are suspicious of foreigners' intent, depending on where you go. I don't want to paint the whole country with the broad brush.
I'm gonna be honest, like booty aside, sex aside, titties aside, all that stuff aside, I do feel a certain type of way. I don't say this because I'm cool with people like Austin and stuff like that, but I do feel a certain type of way about people who film crowds of people without consent, and not because of the booty aspect, because I think that a lot of the women want to be seen, but just generally speaking, like, some guy is talking to some chick on the beach and he's married at home, and somebody filmed it and it's like, no, I see you on such and such video, or somebody's supposed to be at work. He told the company that, he's VPNing from, New York, but really he's in Brazil, and somebody film it like, hey, there you go right there.
Yeah.
Like, you're on a conference call right now. I see you. Like, come on, who wants?
Yeah,
like,
you
get
you're
all
right.
kind of caught up. Kids.
That is a good point, though. You never
but they
know.
on the beach. Like, it's all kind of stuff. You dropping dimes without even knowing it. Like, it can cause all kind of problems like that. Like,
outside of that, that's a good point. Yeah,
and that's outside the booties. There's just some people who are doing things that they're not supposed to be doing. Like you call in sick at work and go to the beach, and now you got somebody fired. Like,
right. Or you go to the Lakers game and you on a jumbo screen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, didn't you say your mama was sick? And that's why
I thought you was at a funeral. I thought you was at a funeral.
Yeah, exactly.
You're doing the wave.
Okay,
You're doing the
everything.
Tootsie Roll.
Well, in these other countries, you also have like a lot of like purity contracts in like employment and stuff. So you have to behave a certain way. So because you're always a representative of the company, whether you're male or female, or in arranged marriages, right? People will start doing their research and just make sure that you're worthy of being married into the family. It's like, oh, we found this one video of you. You're walking down the beach and you were wearing something that we deem as inappropriate, and can't be a mother in our family. So I mean, there can be a lot of fallout, especially now with like the internet and like this worldwide web always kind of following us and being forever, especially in countries that really care. Like to an extent, like in the Western world, it does matter a little bit what we do online, and that can lose us interviews or jobs. But it's a lot more serious in other countries where they will take you just say the wrong thing, you imply something about the government, about having loose sexual morals, about not having family integrity and values or something, and that's it. And you'll not only lose that job, but you'll be blackballed from an industry you worked really hard to get into. So it does matter.
So it can be problematic, and Cloud, I think that also goes into effect. Like hey, you blowing up the spot.
Honestly, I gotta be honest with you, and I didn't want to bring it up, but I kind of felt that way when I was looking at his content. Like, don't get me wrong. Again, I'm a supporter, and I'm a supporter of black men. I'm a black man, obviously, and traveling and just experiencing more countries than. Pardon me.
As you said, I'm a black man. Obvious. I'm saying that's not obvious. You're a green sea. I didn't know what you were.
Yeah, we don't know.
Oh, I thought you could tell by the accent.
Somebody in the chat said you were white. Somebody thought you were white in the chat.
Yeah, the white girl in the chat thought you were white. Just so.
Oh no.
White.
I thought you could tell by the accent. I grew up all over those, so that's probably why. But when I was watching his content, I was kind of thinking that to myself. Like I had this funny feeling like it would not end well, because it is a completely different culture, and it's changing. It's a very, like, people think that when you come here, the women are very docile and they'll cook and clean for you and wash your clothes and you don't have to do anything. But it's not like that when you actually get here, set up, live, and start talking to like regular people that have jobs and so on and so forth. And when I saw what he was doing, I was like, he's gonna run into the wrong woman down here, or get brought up on the radar of the wrong woman down here, and it might not go well, because it's a very it's more conservative than people would think here, but at the same time very liberal. It's a different society.
Yeah, you got to find that balance. I was surprised that they didn't have casinos. Like when I went, they said they have no casinos to the whole country. I was like, oh crap,
Yep.
Like, not that I was
liberal with drugs,
but
very
I'm
liberal.
saying like laws are different, like what they prioritize and things like that. So it's definitely a reason. But I'm about to close down. So
I'll make it up out of here. Yeah, this was a fun conversation. I'm glad I pulled up.
I appreciate you coming,
everybody. Yeah, man. Y'all have a good one, man.
You too. You too, brother.
Thanks for having me, TC.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it, man. Enjoy your week, man.
All right, y'all do the same. All right. Any closing words, Cloud, Marco, H&M?
About dropping H.
Oh no, I just want to say good conversation, and keep doing more of these. I know I came in late, but my signal was acting up earlier, so that's why I'm here at the time I came in. But keep up the good work, man. Keep up the good work.
Okay, appreciate you. Marco?
Yeah, man, good stuff, man. Glad you touched on it from a different angle. You know what I mean? So, but definitely he's got a lot of responsibility in what's happening with him, or to him, definitely. So that should not be overlooked. And like I said earlier, he did the wrong thing with the wrong people. That's all. I don't think that what he did is anything horrible. He didn't, do any crimes, but definitely he did it with the wrong people, and he should just do it with some other. He shouldn't stop doing what he's doing, but definitely know that he can't just do it with anybody he doesn't know. That's all.
Yeah, rookie mistake. Yeah.
So it's all good. Thanks for having me, homie.
All right. Thanks for coming on.
Peace.
Peace. All right. Well, with that, I want to thank the Cash Apps and Super Chats, managers and moderators, those who are listening silently, and those who participate in the chat. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out. And this is GameChanger 00100 signing off. Peace.